couple hours. Man. OB with the killer segue.
Yeah, I loved that. Don't go anywhere. And also it says Confluence on the little how to trade theme. So I feel like it's all, yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it said at the corner. So it's like all coming full circle. Thank you very much, OB and Sean.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to Learn How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. As we do, as always, we're going to wait for the chat to populate and people to move over from the other stream. And here they come. Sharif's mom coming in hot there in the chat, baby. John19, Big Juan Padilla, Ponzi Fonzie, ND Trade, what up, my man? D-Loaf coming in, yo, 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 what's up, man? Miss Gil, Picky Eater, well, that's definitely not me, I'll tell you that. Pay Big Dave, I like that name, Pay Big Dave, pay the man, as my man Primetime likes to say. We got Hamster, we got Jordan, we got Joe Doji, we got Midnight, Ron Campbell, Mary L. The chat's just too quick, I can't get all these names. What's going on, guys? All right, we got to take care of some housekeeping. We are brought to you by Surge Trader, account funding of up to $1 million. Keep up to 90% of the profit. Enjoy relaxed trading rules with an 8% max trailing drawdown on all new accounts. Shout out to the folks there at Search It, who, by the way, still have that paper trading competition where you can get 1,000 smackaroos with 100,000 fake smackaroos. You win that one, you get paid. Also, Trade ID has got their own too, guys. All right, guys. Let's get right down to business. This is Futures Week. We've been talking exclusively about futures trading. Today, we're going to talk about one specific strategy called trend gap strategy. You can use that on the E-mini with respect to the ES or the NQ. We're talking about indices futures here. Yesterday we talked a little bit about commodities futures, threw some in there to kind of enlighten you and kind of expand horizons about the overall market in general. Today we're going to get back to basics and talk about the NQ and the ES. Let's get right to it. No time to waste. Let me actually bring in the lesson over here. All right. The trend gap strategy. What's this all about? There are many good trading strategies that lend themselves well for the ES and the NQ. A trend gap strategy is one that is well suited for intraday trading. I know that's what my people want to hear. They don't want to hear about swing trades. They're like, we'll get that from the NOS boss. Who are you? Right? So it's good for intraday trading and shorter time frame trading, and it's good for scalp trading as well. So you can use it for all these different intraday, shorter term strategies. The trend gap strategy buys and sells pullbacks into smooth flowing trending markets. It uses candles, so candlestick patterns and one-off candles to identify the precise trade entry and stop. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And it utilizes a new tool that we haven't talked about, the tick. The tick, what is it exactly is it called? It's the NYSE tick. So the tick index. That's the word I'm looking for, the tick index. We're going to introduce that to you. We're going to talk to what that's all about. It's a strategy that I've known about for a while that I haven't really incorporated in my everyday routine. We're going to talk about how that is going to be used. It's an indicator with additional information about the market momentum and direction. Talk about that. The opening gaps are used to anticipate the initial market direction. That's kind of how this whole strategy is based around. You're looking at the gap to the upside or the downside to kind of suggest where the market's going to go, and we're going to talk about the trading strategy involved there. All right, here are the rules. There should be a trending price action with, well, we're going to talk about the S&P, the ES today, okay, with the E-mini. There should be a trending price action with the E-mini, making clear higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend or lower lows and lower highs for a downtrend. Having a directional bias is the first key piece of information to this particular trading setup. So we're going to have a bias based upon whether we are gapping up or down. Now, the futures trade a little bit differently than equities. We know that, number one, the futures are based on Central Standard Time, so the Chicago time or Dallas time or whatever, and they close for 1 hour between 5 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern every day. So 4 p.m. Central to 5 p.m. Central every day. So they're closed for an hour, all right? This trend would then need to be confirmed. So when we look at the gap, are we gapping up? Are we gapping down? So that's piece number one. This trend would then need to be confirmed by analyzing 4 moving averages. So we're going to use 4 EMAs today, okay? We're going to use the shorter term 10 EMA and 20 EMA. And then we're going to also use the medium term 50 EMA and then the longer term 200 EMA. And they should be fanning out. And I'm going to explain what that is in a second. The 10 MA and the 20 EMA are also useful to time your entry and your exits using pullback strategies. And here's the example that I'm talking about when I mean by fanning out. So let's go to the chart. Let's zoom out a little bit here. So on this particular chart, you'll be able to see the different MAs and EMAs, but I'm going to show you them on mine because we're going to be using my chart today, okay? So this is the ES. This is the 5-minute look on the ES. And just so you know, the green, the lime green, that's the 10 EMA. So the one we're going to be using today. The 10 EMA, the yellow is a 20 EMA, the red is the 50 EMA, and then this blue one over here is the 200 EMA. And what they mean by fanning out is that you want to see them in the same direction, whether up or down, and spaced apart. You don't want to see too many crossovers, some fake signals like the 20 and the 10 crossing over each other umpteen amount of times. You want to see them directionally in the same direction, and you want to see them spaced apart, like we see right here, okay? The trade entry would be taken on a small candle. We'll talk about that in a second, and the trade should be in the direction of the opening market gap. So what I've done here is I've taken out the aftermarket and pre-market data so that we can actually see the gaps. Let me just refresh this. There we go. So we can actually see the gaps. So these dotted lines, I don't know how well they appear on the chart. Yeah, there you go. You should be able to see these dotted lines. So this one over here, for example, these dotted lines separate the day. So you'll see dotted lines on the left over here, and then you'll see dotted lines on the right. So anything to the right of this dotted line is today's price action. This whole thing from over here to over here is yesterday's, and then over here is Monday. So if you're able to see these dotted lines, just know that they separate days. Why is that important for our purposes? Because it shows the gap. So this dotted line shows you Monday's price action. And then look what happened between Monday and Tuesday, Adira. We closed out at 47.89 at around 6 p.m. or sorry, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then this is the 9:30 print. So this is the opening range. We're not looking at anything from 6 p.m. Monday to 9:29 p.m. Tuesday. We're looking at the closing print, Eastern Standard Time at 4 o'clock, and then the opening print at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time the following day. And that is the gap that we're analyzing. Clearly, we had an up gap here. Now, obviously, if I was to include pre-market hours between 6 p.m. Eastern Monday and to 9:29 a.m. Eastern Tuesday, there's going to be price action there because we trade overnight, right? But that, for our purposes right now, we would like to identify the gap. Go ahead.
No, I'm just like, oh, like I'm just processing this.
Oh,
really
yes.
Cool. Yeah, sorry, I was like a little too vocal about that.
Oh,
but yeah,
it's
no,
cool. I saw you had a question.
No.
All right, moving on. So identifying the gap. This is the first thing, the first step. A gap in the charts is displayed as an empty space between the close of one candlestick and the opening of the next. Case in point, right here, this is Monday's close. Case in point, this is Tuesday's open. We have an up gap, okay? And this morning, we had the exact opposite. Just to make that point, we had a down gap, even though today's a bit of an anomaly because we already broken through yesterday's highs. So this doesn't work all the time. It should show you that. So yesterday, we closed out 4 o'clock at 48.18, and we gapped down into 48.10. So we had a down gap, despite the fact that we look like we're trending higher today, okay? Geez, this chart is non-compliant. Okay. A gap in the charts is displayed as an empty space between the close of one candlestick and the opening of the next. Gaps are more common in futures markets, and hence the reason the gap strategy is used by many futures traders. Gaps can provide a trading edge, but they shouldn't be used as the only reason to enter a trade. However, a combination of other reliable technical analysis, they can be used usefully as they are easy to identify and offer a target, which is the closing of the gap. That's what you're looking for there. So let's look at an example over here. Sorry, what's going on? Yeah, there it is. I need to bring in this one over here. There we go. All right. Yes, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Let me just look here. Yes. So this is an example. So just to show you guys what I mean, here is the gap up. So this is an example. This is not obviously current trade. Yesterday, 3:15 p.m. Central Time. That's 4:15 Eastern, and then 8:30 p.m. Central Time, which is 9:30 Eastern. And you're seeing a gap up here. You're seeing that same thing over here, where you're closing out the close on Monday, and then you're gapping up higher on Tuesday. The opposite happened yesterday, where we gapped lower from yesterday's close, but again, we filled that gap already, all right? Okay. Now, the tick indicator. I'm going to bring that in because we're going to need this for part of this trade as well. The tick indicator. Tick can be used as an additional momentum direction indicator. When the tick hits extreme reading, it can be interpreted as a contrarian indicator because when there are too many buyers or sellers, the market tends to correct to find its balance. And here's the tick indicator. It's a bit kind of tougher to read. Where the hell did my tick indicator go? So frustrating. Here we go. This is the tick indicator. And it's a whole bunch of squiggly lines, but there is a way to read this. So what is the tick indicator first and foremost? The tick index compares the number of stocks that are rising to the number of stocks that are following. And this one uses the NYSE. There's also one for NASDAQ, okay? The index measures stocks making an uptick and subtracts the stocks making a downtick. For example, if there are roughly 2,800 stocks listed in the NYSE, if 1,800 of those stocks make an uptick and 1,000 of them have made a downtick, the tick index would equal plus 800. So it's the variance between how many are making an uptick and how many are making a downtick. And that's reflected right over here. So here's your zero balance on the chart. So right now, we have about a negative balance of 215, meaning out of the 2,800 total NYSE stocks, give or take, the balance is between stocks making an uptick and stocks making a downtick. There's a balance in favor of downticks to the tune of about 225. Okay. And so this shows us the directional trend of the market. Now, just like everything else, we can highlight extremes and we can look at the mean, okay? Where the majority of the day has spent. Have we spent the majority of the day with more stocks making upticks, or have we spent the majority of the day of more stocks making downticks? And this one's a bit harder to look at than a regular chart, but it's kind of easy to understand when you know what you're looking at here. So this is the zero right over here, right in the middle. When you move up above, like we did on the open over here, look at the amount of uptick stocks. We had a balance of 630 this morning on the opening at around 9:30. Yeah, sorry, is this 9:30? Give me one sec here. Around 10:30 was the highest point. We had about 639 stocks balance making an uptick. Okay, so we're going to use this one to help us gauge the direction of the market. When there are too many buyers or sellers in the market, that tends to correct to find its balance. Or if a trend forms within the tick reading, this can also indicate continuation. Now, here's the gap strategy rules. Here are the rules. The rules of this futures trading strategy are simple. Considering the two chart examples below, which I'll show you in a second, which represent the 24-hour continuous contract and the gap chart of the E-mini, we can check. Number one, is there a trending price action making clear higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend, or lower highs and lower lows for a downtrend? Can we see that here? Yes, we do. We look at the chart, if we're able to. No worries. We look at the chart and we clearly see from 9:30 this morning, higher highs and higher lows. Okay, we haven't broken through that lower low area at 48.16. So the answer to the first question is yes. Is there a trending price action making clear higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend, or lower lows and lower highs for a downtrend? Yes, we can see on this 5-minute time frame that the chart is trending up. Question number 2. Is there a trend confirmed by analyzing the 4 moving averages? Yes, look at this. So we know that the red is the 50, the yellow is the 20, and the green is the 10. They're all spaced apart, the 10 being higher than the 20 being higher than the 50. So we have a directional move higher. So not only is that being confirmed by the price action with higher highs and higher lows, but you're seeing the EMAs all trending in the upward direction and no crossovers there. Are the indicators converging with the price to the downside? So what are we looking at here? I've got MACD on the bottom. Take it off the big picture, please, so I can show them the MACD on the bottom, because the position board is covering it. Yeah, there we go. Appreciate that.
By us.
Yeah. So as you can see here, the bars on the MACD all headed higher. The signal line is above the MACD line, so it's trending to the high side. So we have convergence. We have the MAs or the EMAs pointing in the right direction. We have the price action making higher highs and higher lows, and we have the MACD, and we have the gap. So we've got all 4 indicators. All right. So then what we look at next is, well, how are you going to get in? What's your entry? So what we're looking for here is a candle of indecision, right? So a candle of indecision typically is what we look at as a doji. And you've got a couple of dojis from which you can choose over here around 48.21. So this would be your candle over here to get in. And number 1, you filled the gap at that point. Number 2, this is the line where we closed out yesterday. I know it's hard to see. This 48.20 area, 48.21, we're above that. So this would be a bullish indicator over here. So this is how you get in. So just to reiterate, you're asking yourself the following questions. Is a trending price making clearer higher highs and higher lows? Yes. Is the trend confirmed by analyzing the EMAs? Yes. Are the indicators converging with the price to the downside? So we're looking at MACD. We know that the MACD is helping us in this particular direction. And then the other one we want to look at is the tick indicator. So the tick indicator is pointing the other way now, okay? So the tick indicator has been for the last 5 minutes or so below that 150. We'll have to wait and see whether or not this holds up, but for the most part, the last few ones have all been heading to the downside. So that one is not converging. And as I see it here, by the way, it looks like the MACD might be starting to print below 0 on, yeah, so now it looks like we're getting a little bit of a divergent move. So that's how we would do this particular strategy. You're looking to use the tick indicator. You're looking for a gap between the previous day's close and this morning's open. You're going to use 4 MAs. You're going to use EMAs, the 10, the 20, the 50, and the 200, and you're looking for them to be in the same direction and fanned apart at the most. And then you're looking for a candle of indecision as your entry candle. And you've got 1, 2, 3 to choose from over here. You would have gotten in around 48.22. You'd be in the money at the moment as we're 48.24. Bit of a tougher strategy to use.
Yeah, I might have a couple questions, and in fact I do. So I'm going to try to work through these in a way that makes sense. So my first question is, so basically, A, there's a couple moving average related ones. So A, is it you want the 10, for example, in a long situation, you want the 10 on top of the 20 on top of the 50 because it's the most recent to the least recent, right?
For uptrends.
For uptrends, right?
Yes.
So that was going to lead to my second question.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
So for downtrends, you want the opposite. You want the
Opposite
10
way.
and then the 20 and then the 50.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're looking for the gap to get filled here. So you can do this one of 2 ways. And sorry, this chart keeps acting up. Like what is it doing?
It's in a mood.
There we go. Yeah, it's in a bit of a mood, clearly, right?
Much
Yeah.
like the market.
Market's bumping back up. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Yesterday, like I was saying, between Monday and Tuesday, we had an up gap. So we had that gap filled automatically. There was nothing for us to do there. But today we had a down gap. So we were I was looking possibly here, short buys. But then you had the gap filled immediately, right? And then in addition to the fact that the gap was filled immediately, you broke through yesterday's highs.
So then it's kind of...
Yeah, and those are 2 that you're typically don't even consider using the strategy. But then you have the higher highs and the higher lows. You have the 4 MAs pointing in the same direction. You had the MACD strong for the majority of the morning. Now it's kind of at that 0 line. And the tick indicator This one over here has been positive the majority of the morning. You just need to only count the amount of 5-minute candles from this point onwards that are green versus red. Green wins out. You have a couple of red ones, not to lie, but let's count this. One out of how many? Oh, I'll do this after. I don't have to count it live on the air, but that's the point, to look what direction the marking is taking us. If you're at extremes, so for example, if you're at this low 400 area over here, you assume that you're going to mean revert, right? So you're looking for possibly a move up. Likewise, if you're at this extreme over here, where you have a balance of about 600 different or plus 600 stocks moving in uptick, you're looking for a mean reversion back into the downside. So somewhere, I would say you're looking for the tick indicator to be somewhere in the middle, somewhat slightly bullish or very bearish if you're looking for an uptrend, because you know that the very bearish will likely probably mean revert back into the middle on this.
Okay. And then my other question from this, so we're taking wicks kind of similarly to how we take them on a chart, where it kind of shows you, I guess, who's winning out versus buyers or sellers. Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. Cool. That makes sense. Okay.
Like sometimes, remember, like when CNBC does their opening bell, the ring opening bell, and then they show the background with all these green squares and red squares, and sometimes there's gray squares on
So that's like sector watch.
A little bit, but it's just showing you in the moment how many stocks are moving up, that are moving in the right direction, and how many are moving down.
Okay,
right? So this is basically that, but in a different.
But in like a graphical
exactly.
form. Okay, and then my second question. Sorry, I don't know how. I'm not going to stop numbering the questions. They're just coming. Sorry, can you go back to the gap?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me just move it over here. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah. So then my question is, I'm going to probably have a couple, so I'm just going to stare at this chart longingly. But so, like once you've kind of filled the gap, it's a little bit like less effective.
So that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that. I don't think that that's. I don't even think that that's the thing. I think if, in fact, you're looking for the gap to get filled, but I don't think because the gap's been filled that it makes it weaker on the day. No, I don't think that that's.
I just mean like for using like the strategy, yeah.
No. What you're looking for is the direction of the move. So the gap got filled.
So that's how that part's effective.
But just because the gap gets filled, I don't think it necessarily makes it weaker. Like you're going to mean revert, like the tick indicator. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, no, that makes sense.
You could continue to head higher, and it looks like we are. We're about 1 point off the high right now. So.
Oh, I just meant like, so it's still a useful strategy then to use even once the gap is filled. I worded it poorly, like I shouldn't have used the word weaker. And then my my other question then as well, so then I guess you could use as like your like a profit taker in a situation like this would be that higher high, right?
So what you're basically, this strategy is trying to tell you is to get it in on a candle of indecision. A candle of indecision is typically a doji candle. Can you guys go to the full screen for a sec? Thanks. A candle of indecision is typically one of these candles. It's telling you to look for, a momentary equilibrium between buyers and sellers, and take advantage of the direction, which you know in this case is up.
Yeah.
So then you get in here. This is what it's trying to tell you. So your entry is supposed to be 1 tick above the high of the candle of indecision, and your stop is supposed to be 1 tick below the candle of indecision.
It's tight.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, if you got in on any of these candles, you're in the money and you haven't been stopped out at any point yet.
That's
because
really
we haven't made it back down to 48.21 yet on the day. So these are the candles that I would be particularly looking for. Let's go back and look at the previous day if we can, if this chart doesn't stop freaking out.
It's in a mood.
It's clearly in a mood. Okay, so let's go back into here. Where would we have gotten in this particular case? Well, we had already had a gap up, so it was already filled. The gap was already filled to start the day. So I'm not really particularly sure how to get in here, but there's your candle of indecision right there.
Yeah.
And if you got in 1 tick, okay, let me just zoom in so people can see. Yeah, there we go. So where is your candle of indecision? Let's see over here. Yeah, I didn't analyze this particular one. Yeah, this one you would have got stopped out, quite frankly, because there's a couple of candles of indecision right around here at 47.90, and it ended up coming back down to 47.83. So it wouldn't have worked yesterday if you were trying for that gap fill particularly. But if you were looking to get in possibly on the break of the 20 EMA, which is another option that's suggested by the strategies, that you use the MAs as possible exit points. You probably would have got stopped out because it did wick below her, but look how well it held the 20 EMA on that particular occasion.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see exactly how this ends up playing out, but that's basically the strategy right there. Just to reiterate, I just want to remind everybody, there are 4 rules that you're looking for. Is the trending price action making clear higher highs and higher lows after already identifying the gap? In the case of an uptrend, yes. Is it making lower highs and lower lows for a downtrend? Obviously today, no. Is the trend confirmed by analyzing the 4 EMAs? Yes. All of them are spaced apart, and all the shorter EMAs are higher than the one above it. So the 10 above the 20 above the 50 above the 200. Is there a small candle of indecision? Yes, there are several over here, especially after this move up when the gap was filled. Are the indicators converging with the price to the upside or the downside? The two what I'm looking at here are MACD and the tick indicator, and this morning they certainly were. So you would have had all the check marks for this morning. I don't know, I didn't watch it live yesterday, obviously, to see whether we got the tick indicators in the MACD, but looking at the MACD over here, it definitely would have been to the high side.
I have one more question too, sorry, just looking at this chart again. Or I guess it's not a question, it's just an observation. What I think is interesting is, even though this is more of a day trading strategy, if you kind of look at this chart here, I find even like where we gapped down, you could have kind of benefited by seeing it was around where we had that area. You see these areas here that we pulled back, it's almost around the same area. So I think it shows that even though it is an intraday strategy, you can still kind of like look at your levels from the past, right? On something here, like anyways. It's
very good observation. I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. When we gapped down this morning, and look, there's a lot of missing data here. I purposely have removed the missing data, which is the period, again, just to reiterate, between 6 p.m. Eastern time to 9:30 on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time Tuesday to 9:29 a.m. Wednesday Eastern time. I've removed that data so that you can clearly see the gaps. If I didn't remove that data, you would just see candles filling in those gaps, and we wouldn't be able to see whether we were gapping up or down unless we charted the closing price and the opening price from this morning. Right? This was a lot easier to see visually, right? But you're absolutely right. I do love that, especially because this morning's first print on the ES comes in to that consolidation low that we had yesterday. So price action, always, one of the most important things to keep your eye out. Great catch there, Darren.
Thank you.
I didn't see that.
And I just think this is such an interesting strategy too. And I thank you for talking me through this, because I know you do value previous day close a lot because it's a really key level. And so I think it's cool that this has like previous day close baked into it like a little loaf of bread, like filling in the donuts.
I love
also, sorry for the wait here. Shout out to Corey. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. 2S in the chat. Super chat just looks like a little sunglasses emoji. Thank you so much for the 99-cent super chat. Much appreciated. But yeah, no, thank you for...
Big Adam DeLuce pointing a nice trade there for you on Tesla.
I'm going to take a look at this right now. I also, I had like a little baby scalp on NVIDIA, so I want to talk about this for 2 seconds.
Go for it.
I think like what I basically have been moving towards, as I said, we know what word I'm going to say, scalpulation.
There it is.
It's not real, but we're doing what we can here. But yeah, so I got in right above this 499 because I was seeing this super clear range here of this like 499 to 497-ish area, and I was really cognizant we could break out of this range and it could go against me, and especially with something like NVIDIA that does not obey rules or laws of gravity. But yeah, so basically I had a really tight, like I was like, if we break above this like 499.40 area, I am out. And then I was planning on taking this usually about $1. My thing is too, I had it at like I think it was like $1.10 because I wanted to get it at 498. We didn't hit 498 while I was in it. We did again later, but just because I wanted to kind of get profits, we were really picking up around this 498.20 area. So I got out. I think I got like 60 cents in. Again, this is like a simulation trade. But yeah, really happy with this. Like I said, I think I feel more confident in trades, and I think I have a bit more success when I am scalpier. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that teeny tiny NVIDIA scalp. Thank you. Before I move on to Tesla, thank you, Adam DeLuce, for picking this one up. For me, possible short incoming on Tesla, 255.70. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we do have like a movement. I really like this, the 255.70 area, because that was where we had, this is kind of pre-market. I would honestly even maybe consider this 255.40 area.
Bang.
Maybe take out some, this 255.70, and then save a piece for the dream. Shout out to Sharif with that 255.40. But I see what you mean about these levels because there are clear resistance. I also like this level we're kind of at now. Just because, look, we had this is a pre-market level, and I know pre-market levels, I really appreciate you kind of helping me understand this. They can be really key for levels of, stops and stuff, that's where the pre-market levels can be kind of important, right?
Yes.
If you're just kind of looking for profit takers. But yeah, I want to see what we do at this level, because this was pretty key pre-market. It looks like we might just drive right through it here in our Cybertruck, but we'll have to wait and see. We are down on the day, clear move to the downside. Really clear failed double top. I guess not failed. It was like kind of a double top, consolidative top here at 259.40. So not a bad area at all. Thank you so much for bringing this one up, Adam DeLuce.
Yeah,
also, MJP asking my thoughts on NVIDIA. I just kind of briefly discussed NVIDIA, but we can discuss it again. I will read out their comment. Any thoughts on NVIDIA, symmetrical triangle or range bound? I thought along here, but now I'm doubting my thought process. Don't doubt your thought process. We have processes, and then the market, tells us what to think. So do not doubt yourself. I do get what you mean. I also thought we were going kind of triangular because we were having kind of a pennant situation at first because we had this this bull pennant because we're up on the day. We had this really nice flagpole here, and then we were very much doing kind of some consolidative. A symmetrical wedge there. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. It was wedgish. And then we kind of broke out of that. I would say, what I always do in situations like this where we're very range bound is I kind of like to wait to see a break below or above the range before I kind of decide what we're doing. I enjoy trading within ranges, so I might continue scalping within this range. But if you're looking for like longer term movement, I would say, and again, not advice, just my take on this chart, a break below 497 or a break above that 499. 50-ish, that would be a decisive break of the range, and then I think you get a better sense of action going forward.
All right. Racer X9 says, Sharif, I think everyone would benefit from making your text bigger. I will absolutely do that. Just give me some time and make these numbers a little bit bigger. Stop console wars. I'm learning so much. Shout out to you, man. I'm definitely going to keep coming back to get a refresher on this course on replay as I'm trying to learn charting and technicals in 2024 is my plan. Shout out to you. Big Adam DeLuce says, giving away valuable information. Too good. Shout out to you, my man. And Kuri 2S99 super chat. Thank you very much. No message attached though, Kuri. So get at us. And then Ram trolling everybody in the chat as per usual. Was that you? Was that the Chilean Nightmare that says, is that a barcode? That was a Chilean Nightmare. Okay.
You were like there's like slander going on with like you're accusing Ramin.
I didn't know who it was. Look, it's like because it's from the Trader Live Trading by Trader TV Live. That's either Fabian, Cat in the Hat, or Ram. Yeah, Cat usually writes -cat. Yeah. Okay. I can't blame Cat. All right, let's keep moving down. Sky Bear, hey Sharif Adair, good morning. Can you look at Neil? I'm in a long position for a swing trade. What do you think about Neil? Look, I've disparaged Neil enough on this show. It's probably time I give it a better shake. And lately, it has given me reasons to give it a bit of a fair shake. Here is the chart on Neil. Down on the day, as with all Chinese ADRs, even Li Auto taking it on the chin. Today, 3.43% south. Neil doing a little bit worse. 4 3/4 south today on NIO, but this is the 3-minute look. Let's go wider. Here is the half an hour look on Neil. And look at that $7 level held to a T. That takes us back into the beginning of the month, even when everything was gapping to the high side, Neil was still making lows, but that $7 area held real well on NIO. So I don't know what price you're in. Sky Bear. I don't know what your cost basis is for that bad boy, but what I see here are higher highs and higher lows, at least for the past month now. This is the month look over here. So this takes us all the way back to November 10th. We just touched that $9 area back on the 18th. So 2 days ago, that was the highest we had been in a while, about $9. Definitely met resistance at $9 on Neil, and then kind of consolidated sideways into the close yesterday, sub 9 at around that $8.90 area, but we made a big gap down. But are we holding out at support? Well, yesterday we don't have any price action near this area, but the day prior, Monday, we have plenty of price action south of the area where we're at now. Look at this. There's a consolidated bottom here at around the 8 1/4, 8 1/3. So we're definitely still holding out that level. What I'd say is keep your eye on that 8 1/4, 8 1/5. That's the peak from the 15th, which was the close on Friday. The trend, though, for NEO to the high side as of late over the past month. So it's a good trade on NEO, I'd say. Look, for NEO, you can look at the technicals, but you have to also understand that it's so influenced by the geopolitical situation and specifically the Chinese economy as of late. There's so many tailwinds and headwinds, So you could feel like you've got the right direction on one of these Chinese ADRs, and then boom, something. I love it. She always gets scared. Really yeah, she gets spooked
Sharif,
so quick.
Yeah, no, Sharif is always.
She'll be sitting at the front desk, at the big desk where Brendo sits, and like everybody's talking. You know, I come in like I'm in visual range of her. I'm like, Adara, and she'll literally jump off her seat, like get startled. So, you know, I don't feel too bad about startling her.
You shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't.
I think you startle easy. Come back to the chart if you're able to. Thank you, Ramram. So the headwinds and the tailwinds are multifold, and they're ever changing with these Chinese ADRs. Kind of hard to read the technicals. You want to have a look at the daily? Yeah, look at this. This is one hell of a looking daily chart here. I can't discern any patterns, especially as of late. From September onwards, we're quite consolidated. The only thing I can really see is that $7 bottom has been an absolute support level on NIO. Anybody buying at $7, whether in June of this year when we touched or any time in the fall, has been very profitable for them. Shout out to you guys. NEO looking good today, and not today, but you know, recently. Yes. Levy Labar, what ticker is this chart?
I think it was when you were in the ES.
Oh, sorry. Didn't I have it? My bad. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about the ES today, Levy. So anytime I bring in a chart to talk about the lesson, it's going to be the ES March contract. I hope that helps. Let's move down and go through questions. Please stop chattering. Let's do some trade. Well, this is a learning show. So the trades will be the exception and the teaching will be the rule. This morning show and the closing show, all trading, all the time. And the Katina Man and the Neil's positions will be hopefully on a parallel channel. You'll be able to see them all day. And so when we're doing our lesson, you'll be able to see what Sean and Neil are trading. Just a short, we're going to have that for you shortly. And not today, but you know, hopefully within the next few weeks, okay? All right, let's see what else people are asking here. Anything specific? Go up. Yes, by the way, there will be a bill auction. I see that being talked about in the chat. We do have the 20-year auction today at 1 o'clock. We talked about that yesterday. Let me just close this for a second. It will be 1 o'clock, I believe. Yes, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock or
20-year bond auction. Last time around, Dara, we got a 4.780 print. And this time, we're looking for something a little bit lower than that because, like I've said, the higher the yield, the lower the demand. The lower the yield, the higher the demand. We're looking for high demand auctions. That typically is bullish for the market.
Yeah. The market, I feel like lately, too, we talk about this quite a lot, has been, and I, like, at least from what I've been told, it's been more of a thing recently where the market will have crazy reactions, like me when Sharif slams the desk to these bond auctions. So, yeah, they're really reactive. So that's kind of interesting.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Sharif doesn't trade, says Laprise. Oh, I trade. Oh, I trade.
You trade
and if you look at my personal account, you'll know that I trade, which is fine. But anyway, when's the market going to reverse? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait until the market reverses. Michael Strom, you guys are great. Don't answer to people like that. Oh, my friend. It means nothing to me. Sharif, love your information. Keep it up. Shout out to Hugh Jassel. Shout out to you, man.
It's a great name.
Yeah. Callum Mitchell-Miller says he can't believe you're paper trading, which means you're killing it. Good for you. All right, guys, let's have a look at what is moving right now on the markets. Let's bring in the trusty side charts and see what big tech is up to, who's strong on the day, and what the markets are doing. Chart, please. All right, so NQ, first and foremost, we made that big jailbreak through 17,000. That's what we were looking for on the day. And then we reclaimed yesterday's close, which is just a smidge below that 17.0 1/4. right? We closed that at 17,022. We're right above that now. So what I'm looking for on this latest downturn is to hold this level. And that's the horizontal white line that you see on your chart. That's yesterday's close. That is an important level for me to hold up on the day. We also have VWAP just a smidge below that, 17,017, so give or take. But this is the level that is going to be important for me to hold up, especially if we want to continue that uptrend to the high side. We have a 17,073 high. We made that at around 10:30 this morning, and then it's been lower highs and lower lows. But key thing is we're still holding above yesterday's close, which is important because, well, that keeps us positive on the day. We're up technically 0.07%. So good look there. Let's see what's strong in mega cap world. A lot of these guys were above VWAP. Apple now breaking down below VWAP. So Adair pointed out something really interesting. Like look at the chart pattern here on NVIDIA, kind of doing a bit of a compression pattern with VWAP, but you're seeing that a lot with some of these other names. Look at the Meta, same kind of look for Meta, where it's now just getting into VWAP. These kind of flag looking patterns, whether on NVIDIA, Meta, Apple, even to some extent Amazon, where you have that big move up right at the open and then kind of that consolidative flag, with Amazon really now breaking down decidedly below VWAP and trying to hold 197. Amazon trying to stay positive as it closed out at 196.92 yesterday. So we'll have to wait and see what we get here, but a lot of similarity between these chart patterns today, with some a little bit more bullish than the others because they're holding above VWAP, whereas some are breaking down below VWAP. We'll see what Apple does at 197 here. It's knocking on the door of 197. So good look for some of these mega caps today. Nice run up. How's the RSP doing today? The Russell's outperforming again, eh? The Russell's up 0.5 percentage point again. So rotation continues to happen. Like the NQ's up 0.07, the Russell's up 0.5. So good look for some small caps today, Adira.
Yeah, also speaking of small caps, I would be wondering if you'd be willing to give your thoughts on this one, because we talked about small caps last week in regards to entries and exits. And this one is interesting because it does follow your rules, but not until after it broke out. I'm kind of curious as to your thoughts on Polish. So POL, this one is on the Amex.
Ooh.
We had this, this one has now, is above VWAP and did break above the pre-market lows, but pre-market highs, sorry, is what I meant. Thank you. But it didn't do so until after its breakout. How would you approach a stock like this, or would you approach a stock like this?
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I'm just curious,
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's open up POL. And there it is. Okay, so this is a beauty. So what was my first rule on these small cap gappers? You remember?
Yeah, so it's you need them above VWAP and you need them to break a pre-market high.
And did we get the break of the pre-market high? What was the pre-market high?
Looks like it was around this 250, 251.
Bang. So where are we? Where did we just, we went to 350.
Just broke above it,
yeah. So it's a fantastic look, right? So you earmarked the pre-market high. Let's put in VWAP over here. Intraday chart studies, VWAP, intraday volume weighted average price. There it is. And we'll change that bad boy to white because we got black background. All right, apply, okay. And obviously, right, we had the initial testing here of VWAP, reject, and then all you really needed to do, I mean, it sounds a lot easier than it is.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I
it sounds a lot easier than it is. But what I would have been looking for, the number one thing is to put an alert right at the break of the pre-market high. So let's go to the 1 minute and have a look. Did we get an opportunity after the break? Yes, you did. So you put an alert right here. You had a pump up. You got into about 271. Then the next candle was a candle of indecision, taking right back down into that break of pre-market high. So you would have definitely been able to get in. Even if you didn't have a resting order, you would have had that alert to let you know, okay, I should be getting in here. So this is a fantastic look. It's something that I feel works more often than not, which is putting in an alert for the break of the pre-market high and then taking it after that. The reason I put that pre-market high thing is because what I've seen lately is a lot of them sell off and continue to break down after the highs of the pre-market. There's no continuity sometimes with these small caps.
Yeah, that's why I was curious as to how you'd approach that. So thank you for telling me.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Sorry. I meant something, maybe I didn't explain myself that well. What I've noticed with these small caps is the majority of the move will be in the pre-market. Okay? And then what they'll end up doing is selling off the rest of the day, maybe dancing with VWAP for a little bit. So that's why I'm looking, can you prove to me that you've got legs, or are you just a one-hit wonder for the pre-market? You know what I mean? And the way to kind of know that is break the pre-market high. Show me that you have the legs. Show me that the buyers are interested, and putting that alert there kind of just obviously helps with that. So.
Okay. And yeah, sorry. What I was trying to say too is I think like that makes sense that you have the alert set as well. So then, because that's why I was wondering like how do you find and enter that? But yeah, if you have an alert set breaking the pre-market high, that would be how you do. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Also, Corey asked here with another super chat. Thank you so much. Little smiley face emoji here, 99 cents. Much appreciated. Also, Jill Wittenberg in the chat asking, did I have a lot of coffee today? No, I just always talk fast and I always startle easily. Yeah, no, I was like, I may as well shout this out. I enjoyed that one.
I love that, yeah.
But yeah, I think, yeah, I was trying to see if there's anything else in the chat. But yeah, no, I saw some people talking about POL. I had that one in the watch list as well, so I just saw that. And thank you for touching on it.
And Callum Mitchell-Miller wanted to basically clear why he was saying he can't believe you're paper trading. He says that you're doing really good.
Oh,
he says, and that's how I took it. I don't know how you took it.
I didn't,
yeah.
I was like, cool.
Yeah, no, that's how I took it. I meant you know a lot for someone who's still paper trading. Great teacher.
Thank you so much. I didn't even see that comment. So thank you, Callum Mitchell-Miller, and thank you, Sharif, for like helping me really learn. Because I've learned so much from like even like earlier when I was talking about the ES kind of breaking that resistance consolidation area. I think I would not something I would have noticed before I started like learning with you. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody's support and insight in the chat as well.
I like this from James Dell. Watch yourself. Show me what you're working with. I know you're talking about Mystical, man. I know exactly who you're talking about there. Katina Man knows too, doesn't he? Yeah, you know. Mystical, remember? Watch yourself. There you go. No. All right.
All right. I don't know this one.
What's that? Oh, you don't know that song? Okay. If anybody doesn't know, Adair is a youngin, but she's also quite adept with older hip hop. She's really good, and older songs in general. So when she doesn't know something, it kind of is like, really?
I like the Scooby-Doo sound.
All right, let's run through that again. We have about 50 minutes. Maybe we can talk about some other stocks. Katina, man, what are you trading right now? Everybody wants to know. Roblox, long or short? Long, he's long Roblox. And he's thinking Mara short off 23. He is short Mara, $23. The Katina Man taking Mara short, Roblox long. For those people who keep asking in the chat, there you go. We're going to always update you when we can about the Katina Man's trades. And Pole, have a look at Pole.
Yeah, Pole I think just had another quick pop to the upside. Yes.
Quick, it just knocked on the door of $4. So Pole absolutely pumping there.
This is a nice looking small cap. Thank you so much for giving your perspective on that as well, because I think it's so cool how it basically fulfilled both of your requirements for getting into a small cap in one fell candle. I was gonna say one fell swoop, but then I switched it up because in this one candle we basically more or less broke above VWAP, and B broke the pre-market high. So yeah, this is a really quick, very cool look for this stock, up 253+%.
D-Lo says, how quick is the Chilean nightmare with that RBLX sound effect? Damn, man's on the keys. Pronto.
So
it's actually Ram now who's on the ones and twos. Ram, cue the camera, baby. No? I need that button to the camera, and I need an override switch because Ram is never going to go to that camera. I don't think she ever wants that camera to be on. Yeah, look at her. She's hiding over there. All right. Let's talk a little bit about this poll. Let's bring it up. POL, it's on the NQ. No, it's not. It's on the Amex? It's on the Amex, right? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's a little baby.
Yeah. All right, we just knocked on the door for $3.90 rejection with a $3 hold, so we're still stuck in a little bit of that range. But if you were to consider this a bull flag, so what's your measuring here for the bull flag, Adair?
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up on mine as well now, so I can kind of look at this. Okay, so what I would do is I would measure it for this poll. So let's say the poll starts at pun not intended because it's POL. Got too excited there when they present themselves. So let's start at let's say it starts at 2 here.
Go to the 1 minute on that.
Okay, I was gonna say I realized right after I'm probably in the wrong time frame.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So look at that.
Okay.
That's perfect.
So yeah,
right
so
there.
I was still thinking about like $2. I would say probably we'll start around there, $2, and then okay, 1 minute. I'm gonna use 1 minute. We'll start start like 225 here, the flagpole. Then we go to about 345. So about $1.20 here. Then we would measure the breakout. I would say this is probably where we broke out here. This 310. So then that would give us until $4.30 for a breakout, because we're going to measure, basically what we're trying to do is we're going to measure the breakout to be the length of the flagpole. If our flagpole was roughly $1.20, that means our breakout could also be roughly $1.20. So that gives us, if we broke it at about $3, $3.10, that gives us to about $4.20, $4.30 for this breakout, and it looks like that really could come to fruition. We're knocking on the, I'm going to pull a Sharif, knocking on the door.
There you go.
$4 right now. So yeah, it's really, I feel like it's not always accurate, but I found it really helpful to kind of measure these breakouts since we had these lessons, because I feel like it does help you with profit takers and beak wetters.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how often it's accurate. I'm not saying it's accurate every time, obviously. The other one I want to mention to you guys today is ARM. ARM is up 4.25% on above average volume, which is about almost 4 million shares, 3.4 million shares. I don't particularly see a catalyst today on ARM, but you know, it has been a good stock as of late. I know it retraced a little bit yesterday, or did it? Quickly. Yeah, yesterday and the day prior at red days, but now it just broke into all-time highs, which isn't saying much because it only really launched September 14th, but we are at all-time highs right now on ARM. It continues to trend to the higher side, 72.47 the HOD, so essentially 72.5 today. We'll look to see if it's making higher highs and higher lows after that 72.50 break, but on the day it's been holding VWAP. You've got the higher highs, higher lows after the initial break higher. It's been steady. It's been stair-stepping up is kind of what I'm trying to say here, with a couple of opportunities to get in near VWAP, but not exactly at VWAP, the VWAP general area. Big Kyle Burdett says, looking to short ES, 48.21 breaks and holds as resistance. Let me have a look at where the ES is, because I was just thinking about the NQ long here.
Also, did you see? I just saw Ramin in the chat.
Yeah, justice for Ram. I laughed that up. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. 48.21 says Kyle Burdett. So Kyle Burdett looking for a flat bottom break here on the ES. Here's what the look. Here's what I'm assuming Kyle is looking at here. This 421 area was support multiple times this morning, so he's looking for a breakdown. It is a bit of, I don't want to call it a counter trend trade because we're not really up that much there, 0.07 or 0.8%. 48.20 yesterday's close, VWAP at 48.18. We'll have to wait and see what we get here, but it was a gap up in the morning as well, as we saw already on that earlier chart that I showed. So good look for the ES. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, Kyle. Not a bad look. All right, let's start the lesson over again. You want to do it this time, and then I'll be able to show the charts on my
absolutely.
side.
I also, before I go to this, there's another comment from Kyle Burdett here.
Go for it.
Did another listen to Steph Futures lesson from Monday. Definitely great info there for traders. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I mean, we're still in futures.
There she
Shout
is.
out to Steph.
We see you back there, girl. There she is. Wave to the people. It's this one right here. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
all right,
it was
go
great.
for it.
We learned a lot, and yeah, now
no question about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. So let's trend gap strategy is what we're talking about today, and so many trading strategies that lend themselves to the futures. We will be talking about these the S&P. It's the ES we're talking about, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we're talking to ES, ma'am. But yeah, we're talking about the ES. And this is the trend graph.
I said yes, ma'am, not yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, and I said yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool.
Because I cannot resist. But yeah, thank you. But yeah, so yes, ma'am. Thank you here. A trend gap strategy is basically a good strategy for trading intraday future strategies, because we were talking about longer term strategies a little bit yesterday, but now we're going to talk about some future strategies that you can use on the intraday. So this can also help you, I guess, for scalping as well if you want to do some future scalping, according to these notes here. So this strategy can help buys and sells pullbacks into smooth flowing trending markets. So, you know, we were talking about a lot with last week as well with these entrants and exits. Some strategies work better in consolidative markets, some work better in trending. This is a good one for trending markets here. And so it utilizes the NYSE tick indicator. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's a really funky looking indicator. It's an additional indication of market momentum and direction. The opening gaps are used to anticipate initial market direction. So what are some of the rules of this strategy? So there should be a trending price action with the ES in this case as an example, making clear higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend. And then if you want a downtrend, you're looking for lower highs, lower lows, right? So pretty straightforward. And having a directional bias is the first key piece of info that you need for a trade setup if you are using such a strategy. So the trend then needs to be confirmed by analyzing 4 moving averages or MAs. So for example, in an uptrend, you want the shorter term 10 MA and the 20 MA or the EMA as well. In this example,
Ram.
You're using EMAs, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
EMAs. So those even.
You can put her picture, just my chart, because she's talking about what I had. There you go. Awesome.
But yeah, so I think the EMAs as well, because I asked a question to Sharif earlier about how the reason we want the order, which I'll talk about in a second, the order is important because you want the most recent info on top and then the least recent on the bottom.
Yes.
And that's even, I think with the EMAs, I think that's also a really interesting aspect to think about as well, because then you're also continuing to weight that, or give extra, I guess, weight or importance to the more recent info, right? Because the EMA does more heavily weight more recent info.
Yes.
Yeah, so you want basically the shorter term 10 MA, 20 MA, the medium term 50 MA, and then sometime as well the long term 200 MA. But in this example, we have the 10, the 20, and the 50.
Yes. Just to let everybody know, the lime green is the 10, the yellow is the 20, the red is the 50, and the blue is the 200.
So yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we have all 4 there, as you can tell. And so the 10 and the 20 are also useful to time as entry as price pulls back to them. And so basically, so you want the trade entry to be taken on the smaller candle, candle of indecision, as you were putting earlier.
Exactly.
That was really
and
helpful.
Here's one as an example. These doji candles are typically candles of indecision because doji candles are characterized by the small body and the larger wicks. So the body relative to the overall wicks is small, and typically the body closes somewhere in the middle. So it shows an equilibrium between buyers and sellers.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for explaining that. And so yes, then the trade should be taken in the direction of the opening market gap, and then that is also clarified when you have your MAs stacked up all neatly. So if you're in an uptrend, we're going to talk about this in a minute too, but it's, you want the 10, the 20, the 50, and the 200. So you want them most recent at the top.
Fanned out.
Yeah, thank you. That's a better way of putting it. Fanned out. And then if you're in a downtrend, you want them fanned out in the same, where you want the 10 closest to the direction we're moving, and then the rest of them fanned out more or less in order here. So now what you want to do is identify the gap. So a gap in the chart is displayed as an empty space between the close of one candlestick and the opening of the next candlestick. And they're sometimes more common in the futures markets, and this is the reason that this strategy is really helpful for intraday futures trading. So gaps can provide a trading edge, but they should not, I'm going to old man finger wag again here, they should not be used as the only reason to enter a trade. And that's why we like this confluence, shout out to Obi, with the MAs, and that's why this is a part of the strategy, right? So if you have these combined, the gaps, combined with other reliable technical analysis tools, technical indicators, it can be useful because they're easy to identify and they offer a target, which is the close of the gap. Yep. So with the kind of example here on the chart as well, we had the gap close pretty earlier. Okay,
so let's tell everybody where the gaps are first and foremost. So I'm going to put vertical trend lines to separate the days. Okay, so here we go. This is a particular day. This is Monday. In between these 2 vertical lines is Tuesday. And so you'll be able to see from Monday to Tuesday's opening price. So this is the last print on Monday. And by last print, I'm talking about 3:59 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. And then this opening print here is 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. There is price action that trades in between there, but for the purposes of identifying the gap between the previous day's close and the next day's open, I've removed any price action there. Typically, you will have trading. There will be candles filling in those gaps, but we need to be able to identify previous close, next day open. So therefore, I've removed that. And then you can clearly see we're gapping up here. Whereas today, we gapped down off yesterday's close, but we filled that gap immediately, and we broke through yesterday's high, as noticed here on the chart. This was yesterday's high. These 2 double tops here into the close yesterday at around 4 o'clock. And there you go. You get that, 4 o'clock. And then we broke right through it and we made a newer high. Yeah.
No, it's like a really good look there. Yeah. But so, so thank you for talking through that. But yeah, so that's what kind of, if you have the fill of the gap and then you have that candle of indecision that Sharif explained
this one
just now, then you can use that as your point of entry, that candle of indecision. Also, it's cool how in this example, the candle of indecision, which was today actually, the candle of indecision almost aligns with us breaking that
It is.
The top.
Yeah,
more. I
it
think
is.
it is the same area. Yeah.
It literally almost is. I think it's like a quarter point off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, there is like, I'm going to use this word again, confluence at these levels, which I think is really key. And obviously you're not going to have the same every day, but I think this is really good to note. So now let's talk about the tick indicator. So this is, it can be used as an additional momentum direction indicator. And so when the tick hits an extreme reading, it can be interpreted as a contrarian indicator, because when there are too many buyers or sellers with an R, the market can tend to correct to find balance. So it's kind of similar to the overbought, oversold, like the RSI, right? Or if a trend forms within the tick reading, this can indicate continuation. So yes, the tick reading.
Here it is. Let me bring it in.
Thank you.
So here's the tick. So let's just talk a little bit about this. All this is showing, guys, and this is the 1 minute. So let me show you the 5 minute. Okay. So what are we looking at here? There's about 2,800 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, the NYSE. Okay. And so what we're looking at is the variance between how many of those 2,800s are making upticks in any one moment versus how many making downticks. And the reading we get on the side, this is your zero balance over here. So this is the equilibrium where the amount that are making up and downticks is equal. When you have a positive reading, means there is a net amount of tickers making an uptick. Right now, we have about a reading of 120, meaning that out of the 2,800, the total amount that are making upticks is the variance is about 120. So just to read it and to give you an exact explanation, the tick index compares the number of stocks that are rising to the number of stocks that are falling on the New York Stock Exchange. The index measures stocks making an uptick and subtracts the stocks making a downtick. For example, there are roughly 2,800 stocks listed on the NYSE. If 1,800 stocks are making an uptick and 1,000 stocks are making a downtick, the tick index would equal a reading of plus 800. So I just want to make that very clear. It's something that I know a lot of people don't use a lot. Ram chart a lot, but this is basically how to read it. So the zigzagging absolutely makes sense based upon what we're really looking for here. Are we in the positive or are we in the negative at any one moment? You can look at this on the 5, you can look at this on the 1, whatever time frame you want to look at it.
Yeah, it's really cool that it is kind of just like a very synthesized version of what the entire market, or in this case, you know, exchange, so in this case the NYSE, is doing at a given time. And
you're not supposed to be reading this like a normal chart, guys. It's not supposed to be reflective of like a normal chart. That's not what this is doing at all. So I know some people are saying, what the hell is this chart you guys are showing? All you're reading, all you're looking for is the reading, plus or minus. And then you're looking for the extremes, okay? So the downward extreme today, really the worst we could do was minus 500. So there was an imbalance of about 500 stocks that were in that more than that were making a negative print. Whereas when we have to the high side, it's about 650. So when we get to these extremes, what we can kind of glean from that is that there's likely going to be a mean reversion off these extremes, whether to the high side or the downside. So when you move into these extremes, what you could be looking for is a reversal to the other way. And that could be one of the indicators you use for your entry. So if I was looking short, for example, I would wait till we got into the extreme range here in say the 600, 650, knowing that there was a good chance that we would mean revert at least back to 200, 100. Conversely, if I was looking at getting long, I'd be looking for ticks in the negative area towards the, this extreme area, 400, minus 450, minus 500. Be looking for an entry long because I know that is likely to mean revert back somewhere in the middle, minus 100, 0, plus 100, like that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, thank you. I appreciate you explaining that because it is definitely, I had some questions earlier about this one as well. Yeah, just because it is like a really interesting chart to look at. But yeah, and then more or less like each candle is kind of same kind of general rule. Like it shows like, the range of the movement in that period, right? So I think looking at it like that kind of helped me at least, I think, understand it because it's definitely a lot of chart to look at. I will put it that way. Also, gap, an example, just kind of what you go through when planning out the gap strategy, right? So the example, for example, with the S&P or the ES, futures, wow, we're doing just speaking the word futures escaped me, thank you. But yeah, so things you want to check before entering a trade
Yes.
and keeping everything in mind. Here's a little baby checklist to talk about, okay? So one, is there a trending price action making clear higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend, or lower highs and lower lows for a downtrend? And then, you want to say, like in this morning, we did have a very clear on whatever time frame we are using. We have, a clear movement in the uptrend. We did have, at least earlier on the ES, we had higher highs, we had higher lows. We had a very clear uptrend here, right? And so now, step 2, numero dos. Is the trend confirmed by analyzing for moving averages? And yes, we do have the moving averages coming to alignment. In this case, for an uptrend, you want them all kind of stacked, or I like the word you used, fanned, in the right order. So you want the 10 MA, or in this case EMA, closest to the price action. Then you want your 20, then you want your 50, and then you want your 200.
200's hiding down here.
Yeah, 200 is just chilling down there. But so you want basically the most recent price action weighted the closest, right?
And I'd like to add something here that I didn't add. So what I personally would, I haven't used this strategy all that much, but what I wouldn't want to see here is umpteen amount of crossovers between the moving averages. If we start looking and seeing crossovers, it looks like we're in a market of indecision. The 10 crosses below the 20, crosses above, crosses below, and it's giving you all these false signals. So what you're looking for is a sustained direction. And the farther the spaced apart, obviously, typically it will mean revert a little bit back. So you don't want them too far apart, but you don't want them too close together either, because of what you subject yourself to is false signals, wicking down, wicking up.
I see. And so then that goes to a question asked earlier. I think it was Roger in the chat asking, what do you use in consolidative markets? I mean, we did talk too about some strategies as well in consolidative markets, but this one is more helpful for trending. And thank you for bringing that up, because I didn't even think about the aspect of the crossing. But yeah, as we did say earlier, this is very much a strategy for trending markets, and that is really helpful specifically with futures when they do gap, as they are wont to do.
Yeah.
Now, so step 3, we have, is there a small candle? Do we have that candle of indecision?
Exactly.
That is what we want for step 3 here. Trays, yeah, so we did have that candle of indecision. Today's ES chart is just a beautiful in the wild example, is it not?
Yes,
yeah.
It's really good today.
Thank you for clicking on that one, yeah. So as you can see, we had, it's called a doji candle, right? You wicked up, we wicked down, we did have that candle of indecision, and we were in an uptrend. We had the MAs doing what we needed them to do.
Doing it
so now
21?
we fulfilled, thank you. I haven't said that one in a while, so thank you. Everything is doing its thing 21.
There you
so
go.
when we have that candle, we're like, another aspect of confluence that we can keep an eye on.
Okay.
Now, what is step 4? Well,
what
step
is
4, thank you. Are the indicators converging with the price to the upside or downside? Is it converging in whatever direction we're moving? And in this case, yes. We had all these other movement to the upside, and then we do have let's say an indicator converging to the upside as well. So you might want to use your MACD. You also want to maybe use your tick situation, the ticker. That indicator where you have kind of an entire look at what a specific stock has been doing in terms of what general movement are we moving, or sorry, not stock, future index. And so then in that case, we have everything complying, confluencing with the gap strategy rules. Okay. So now basically, you want to plan your entry. And so in this case, the example that is kind of used here is you want to enter 1 tick below the trigger candle. And then your stop would be 1 tick above, or sorry, this is the example of a short.
Well, this is a short. Yeah, so for a long, your stop is 1 tick below the candle of indecision, and your entry is 1 tick above the candle of indecision.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was reading this and then realized, that's how.
Yeah, because that was for a down day. That's fine. Same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, basically and I like that tick as well, because it's like kind of a solid way of looking at it, right? And especially again in today's example, the candles are really working with that as well. The idea you want to be 1 tick above, 1 tick below. And then you, again, keep your risk management plan in place. It exists for a reason. But yeah, no, I think like all of these, I think it was really helpful. And I appreciate you going through and answering my questions earlier with regards to just keeping an eye on these future strategies.
Absolutely.
Also, there was I think there were a couple super chats that came in that I was not able to look at during the lesson. Evan11, thank you so much for the 99-cent super chat. No message here, just a little emoji with $ eyes. Thank you so much. We also have LJD, €2 No, it's Great British Pound. I take it back. I think it's the Great British Pound. I think Sharif would know better than me.
What?
This the pound?
Yeah. That's two quid, baby.
Oh, 2 quid.
2 quid. Yeah. Well, it's like saying buck.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, so it's more casual.
Pound.
So
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
The US dollar. I don't know why I use a British accent for the US dollar, but yeah. Thank you so much, LJD, for the 2 quid super chat. STBX, superb entry point. Yeah, I'm sorry. I looked at this so late, so I apologize. We may have missed the entry point, but let's look at STBX. Starbucks, not Starbucks, Starbucks. Group holdings. Okay, I see what you mean, though. I'm guessing, did you mean for a short? Please clarify what you meant. I'm so sorry it took me a while to look at this super chat. But yeah, like this looks like kind of a lot of consolidation. We did have for a while a flattish bottom, and we had lower and lower lows, and then we quadunked, to use a Sharifism here, through that. This one is a penny stock. Let's look at the daily chart, see how we were doing. Oh yeah, okay, so this is interesting as well. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. We've kind of had a bit of a double top on the daily on this one. So we'll have to see if we can kind of,
interesting.
Right? I think it's kind of an interesting look. We were in a very a downtrend for a while. We had some consolidation here around this $1 for 15-cent level, more or less, starting September 22nd, and then October 11th, it said bye-bye consolidation zone. Floop to the downside, had a big swoop there. Now we're trying to recover to the upside. It'll be interesting if we break above this 35-cent area, because this stock loves consolidative areas, because we did have that earlier, right? So we'll have to see what it does. Definitely longer trend, downside move, could switch out of that. But yeah, I get what you mean. It's a nice look. Intraday LJD, and I do apologize for the time it took me there to get to that one.
All right, let's see what some people are saying here. Raul says, is Sharif on weed? Yes, I'm smoking marijuana at the desk as we speak, okay?
How are you missing it? How can you not see it?
I don't know what to say to this person. Vanilla Man in America, the market breathes, the candles will pull away from the 200 SMA, then pull back to the 20 SMA. Okay.
I love that description of it, like the market breathing.
Just like I'm breathing the weeds right now. Okay, next one, Jay Lee. Shout out to Big Jay Lee. Carvana just gave you a super clean $4 short, amazing dump quadunque. I expect it's going to sub 40. Shout out to Big Jay Lee. Let's have a look at CVNA. There we go. CVNA, what do we got on Vana? Vana had a hell of a day yesterday. That's for dang sure. Look at that gap up on Vana yesterday, and then that big move up into breaking 60 bucks. We already broke through yesterday's high. We're quadunking. We're red right now. That was a great looking trade, Jay. And the reason is because of the closing print. Look how many times we had support at the closing price after the bell rang. Okay, you had a bounce off it here, a bounce off here, a reject here, bounce here, bounce here. Then finally, you got the actual outlying volume. And Dara, I want to show you this. Look at this volume. Woo! Outlying volume on the actual break. You got a great short there. Shout out, Jay. That's a great trade really by you.
That was the bottom, and then it broke with strong, because we were saying, and you helped me like learn this as well. The volume that you have when you make these big moves matters.
It has to be outlined.
Outsized.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that is a flat bottom break, and we're going to hit that animation. Shout out to the Chilean Nightmare for making that one. 59.79 or 59.80-ish was the closing print yesterday, and we absolutely quadunked below that. That's a good look there. We are still within yesterday's low, though, so be careful shorts. We likely will find, at least for the moment, support at where we are right now. Look at the closing, look at the, not the closing print, the low yesterday took us down to that 57.75-ish, 57.75 area. So lo and behold, where are we finding support? Yesterday's low. So be careful shorts at this point, but that was a great short, flat bottom break through that level. Shout out to Big J Lee. What else is being talked about here? Let's go back to move up in the chat over here. Ehsan, PRZO going up. I will have a look at that in a second. Adam DeLuce, send me your workout, bro. By the way, great CK Polo. Oh, thank you. All right. Big Adam DeLuce noticing my polo. All right, no problem. Why not, says Sharif on protein strain. All right, whatever, man. I told the Katina man this morning, I'm like, it's bulking season. Like, it's Wednesday for me, bro. I mean, I don't care about your bulking season or whatever. So yeah. He was not impressed.
I was wondering when he was saying it's Wednesday for me. I was wondering what that was in response
That's what
to.
he was
I heard
talking
his
about,
response,
yeah.
but not what you said. So
It's bulking season, baby. Adam, I'm gonna send you a nice workout. I'll gram it to you on the gram.
On the gram.
Yeah. Willis Addison, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend Willis Addison, for that. My 260 put buy on FDX just financed these MU puts. Shout out to you for taking that bad boy short. That's the second quarter of declining volume for FedEx. Like Brendo mentioned on the big desk this morning, it is a bellwether for the overall economy because it ships so much of the e-commerce and whatever is being floated around. So as you know, FedEx goes, it's looked at as the consumer goes. Whether or not you believe in that narrative, an entirely different story, but one to be cognizant of nonetheless, because even if it's not true, a lot of market participants are trading off that kind of that foundation. So great look for you, Willis Addison. Micron on the day down 1 1/3, but it's been a very good look for Micron lately. They did catch an upgrade yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Micron.
It was
Micron.
a day. I think it was yesterday. Sorry, it was a day.
Something like that.
I'll
right?
find out.
That's all good. Anuyu says, awesome knowledge. Are you going to train to finish the Bring Sally Up challenge? Man, I was like really close to getting that. It was like 20 seconds or so for finishing the Sally Up challenge. Yeah, I've never practiced for it, so maybe
that's like impressive.
Yeah.
I've heard some people practice.
I put it on my my Instagram, and I'm already getting like people like, yo, bro, I can beat you in that, bro.
That voice.
You suck, bro. All right, bro. Jay Lee, CK Polo or not, those brand names really don't matter, but the workouts do. Props to your regimen. I need to do more like you. Shout out Jay Lee. Kill it, bro, man. The gym's there for everybody, baby. Man, I've been using my COVID setup a lot lately. What's up, Katina man? Katina man's coming in. Look. What do you got? He's got the CK hoodie. So, yeah, you got the CK hoodie.
Oh my gosh.
Run, Ram.
Oh my God.
She's got something to show, too. Hold on. Is that from Winners? Katina man, is that from Winners?
I don't know. This is so old.
Ram, is that from Winners?
Probably.
Man, nobody knows.
Winners
All my
has
stuff
good
is
stuff.
from Winners.
Winners has good polos.
Sponsored. You didn't know.
We're sponsored. The Katina man is sponsored by CK, baby. No, Winners is like Marshalls or TJ Maxx in this country. It's actually owned by the same company, TJX, which has been doing real well this year anyway. Shout out to them. Nick Dubb. Hey, Sharif. Can you look at TTD? I'm looking for it to make a breakout. Let's have a look at TTD as I got to keep my eye on this future position that I'm in. By the way, future position, let me let you guys let you in on my move here. If this breaks this flat bottom, I don't want to see a lower low. That is the end of the trade. I'm kind of hoping to get in mid-print here before we start trending up in the more liquid time of day, but I don't want to see a lower low. If it breaks at 1730, I'm cutting the trade. 17030. 17030. So just want to let you know because I didn't speak about it, but let's have a look for Nick Dubb here at TTD. Let me bring in the trusty side chart and we're going to look at TTD. All right. Is there? I'm good on my end. I don't know how you feel, but I'm getting the quotes properly over here. All right, TTD, trade desk, down 0.17 on the day, $38 billion market cap. Let's look at the longer term picture so we can kind of gauge. All right, right off the bat, what do I see? From July onward, when we made that double top, we know we made highs for a lot of these names in July before we broke through just recently. Lower high, lower high, lower high, another lower high. And guess what? You know what comes with those lower highs? Lower lows. Okay, so it's a downtrend here. It's not by much, but it is a downward channel nonetheless. There can be no argument about that. Where do we find some support for this downward channel? If if we'll be able to glean something here. Yeah, kind of hard to say. There's so much sporadic price action, especially over the last 2 years. Let me put in the ticker so people don't complain. TTD, here it is. So trade desk. Yeah, we're in kind of no man's land at this point, to be quite honest with you. In terms of support, we're going to have to base it off the channel because there's really nothing to look at here as a definable level of support on this down move. There really isn't, not that I see. There's different areas, general areas you could say. This $60 area has a lot running through it, but it's by no means definitive. I would be looking for a higher high here before I get involved. Like, you could say, well, Sharif, it's at the higher end of the upward channel. To me, unless you make a higher high, that means a short, because it's been a short on every time it's touched this upward or come close to this upward, this higher trend line over here, this one I'm talking about. It's rejected off it. So the trend stays intact until it proves to you it's not going to. So to me, trade desk is a possible short off here. I wouldn't personally be interested in going long. Let's have a look at the 15-minute chart and see what the more micro time frame is.
He wants the weekly as well. I'm just seeing
the weekly, absolutely. Yeah. Let's look at the weekly over here. Yeah, you don't see much difference on the weekly, Adair, except that 60 area, but then that 60 area takes you back into early Jan when we had buying off 60 umpteen times, okay?
Yeah.
There was several weeks you had buying off 60 there. But
those wicks were nuts.
Yeah, but 60 doesn't feature as an important level until now, until these wicks over here were bought up, right? Yeah. So I got to tell you, I'm going to go with this channel as my, as what I'd be looking at personally. Not any price level. I need a break above this channel, number one, and then number two, I need a higher high. So that's either going to be this $80 level if you're basing this as a high, or through this $86 level. That's what I'd say. Hope that helps. All right, let's move down. What's my trade doing? Yeah, I'm flat on it. No big deal. All right, let me just look here. Big Adam Deleuze, £2 super chat to the CK team. What's the team doing for Xmas? I asked that question. I'm like, are we going to have an Xmas party? And I was told no. So yeah, there's no Christmas party around here. I guess we could kind of like, you know, we could, I don't know. We could do a Christmas. Cat in the Hat said we could all wear Christmas sweaters. Katina Man, you got a Christmas sweater? The Katina Man is giving me the nod. All right, how about you?
I have a red sweater and a green sweater.
I don't have any. I'm going to have to buy.
So we have options.
Yeah, okay, clearly. I am Christmas sweaterless, which is fine. Cat in the Hat, what colored sweater do you have? It's black. All right.
It's a sweater.
Well,
it's a sweater.
Very Christmas color, Cat in the Hat. All right. There's red in it, though. Okay, okay. All right, there we go. Yeah, maybe we could do something
Friday,
like that.
The sweaters. Tomorrow?
Friday seems like a good day, no? Katina Man, you're not in on Friday, are you? You got the day off. Huh? Correct. The Katina Man will not be in. So maybe we could do it when everybody's in? I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
He's going to wear his tomorrow, whether we want to wear it or not. I guess it's like.
Also, shout out to Roger in the chat here, 39.5-foot pole. Great Grinch reference, very topical for the season. I'm guessing that's regards to you know, touching stocks with I wouldn't touch that stock with whatever pole. I really appreciate you referencing that with regards to the Grinch there. There we go.
Body paint, says Picky Eater. Red body paint. Yes, yes, that's what. That's how I'm going to keep my job around here. Showing up naked in red body paint. They're really going to like me after that. I don't know what to say to that, guys. You guys are great. I love the chat. The chat stays undefeated as per usual. All right, I'm just watching this trade here on the future. We're dancing around 17,050. We put in some higher lows over here, but kind of consolidative. Not really doing much. Again, if it breaks below that 17,030, I'm gonzino off this trade. Just kind of looking to wet my beak in this mid-range area if we're going to trend up on the day. So if we are, just want to kind of get the jump on things. Otherwise, I'm not going to give it much room. I can always get back in, so it's not a big deal to me. All right. Shout out to you, Adam. Thank you. Blackberry, Adara, Sharif, hello. Greetings from Germany. Deutschland. What's the plan for the next 2 weeks? Will there be lessons? Yes, but some housekeeping. Alfred will be in 2 days next week. He will be talking with me at the big desk. We're going to do about 20-minute, half an hour segment. The first day is going to be the basics of fundamental investing, how to read a balance sheet, how to kind of understand earnings. And number two, because he's a Warren Buffett disciple, he's a value investor, he's going to be talking about how to become a good value investor spotter and how to not get trapped in these value traps. Anybody who knows anything about investing knows exactly what a value trap is. Alfred will be here. He is not a mythical character. We are going to be bringing him in. Finally, he's not a mythical character. He will be coming in, and hopefully we'll be getting some good conversations from him. So the lessons will continue. Adair and I will be in next week, even though Monday is a holiday. The lessons will continue, and we hope you definitely can join us for those lessons. Yeah. Big Patty Ice also is going to be on the show today. He's going to Big Patty Ice, baby. Patrick.
Is that his nickname? Is that his official patented?
Yeah. Big Patty Ice. He's going to be on the show from 1 to 2 today, giving Adair a much-needed break. We'll be able to talk to him about what he's doing with his trade. So keep your eye on the midday. We're going to be having guests galore. And let me tell you, in the new year, we will have somebody in to teach us about algo trading. And that's going to be a big one. Automation. I know a lot of people are really involved with that. I know Adam has, he's got an algo that has about a 40% win rate, Big Adam Deleuze. So a lot of people will be interested in the algo trader that we're going to have on. And he's going to be telling us a lot about programming, about how to program your own algos, etc. So make sure to stay with us because we're going to be talking a lot about the different types of educational programs we can have on the midday show here.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I think all of the interview aspects really cool. It was, again, like so cool to have Steph on. I learned a lot. I took lots of notes throughout that, especially, during
she killed it.
Week. She killed it. It was awesome. And also awesome, I love that. I just have to address this chat. James Dell, nice. Got to interview Alfred in the Batcave.
He always gets that, by the way. Yeah. That's what everybody used to say. Even the Katina man was like, is Alfred he's talking to Batman? What's he doing? Yeah. Kunal, how do you identify when institutions, I'm assuming that's what you mean, trap retailers on a trend line? Yeah, I don't know if there is really one specific way. What there is something called a professional breakout, which is basically when you have a key resistance or support level and you get a decided break through that and then an immediate retracement. That's usually trapping shorts, or longs, depends on what the direction the trade is. Really depends on who you ask. I mean, is it institutions? Is it the market makers? Yeah, it's kind of like beyond the scope of today's lesson. It's a good question, maybe one we can touch in the future, but I don't really have much to say on it today. Diamond, Realtor of Miami, what's up, my man? Best show in the world, 305, stand up. Yep, love that. And shout out to the Playmaker. We're always remembering him around here because he was also from the 305 chat. The OGs in the chat will know exactly what I'm talking about. Why Brothers United, Sharif Adera. I will watch your afternoon learning sessions in my long weekend. I missed a lot. Thank you, my friend. Go back, watch all those lessons. That's the beauty of YouTube. You can come back to those bad boys anytime you want and catch up. And we're always dropping new topics this week. The entire week, it will be a futures-specific lessons. So let's get to that lesson that we just alluded to here. Probably time to restart that bad boy. All right, let's do this again. And let me pull up my futures trade. All right. We're talking about today, all week we're talking about futures, but specifically today we're talking about the trend gap strategy. All right, there are many good strategies that lend themselves to trading the ES and the NQ. A trend gap strategy, though, is one that is well suited for intraday trading and trading on shorter time frames and actually using it for scalping trades as well. Okay? The gap trend strategy, essentially what you're looking is buying and selling pullbacks into smooth flowing markets. Get to what that means in a sec. It uses candles to identify the precise trade entry and stop. We're going to talk about the candle of indecision in a second. And it utilizes the New York Stock Exchange tick indicator, or the tick index, and we'll get to that one in a second as well, as an additional indication of market momentum and direction. The opening gaps are used to anticipate the initial market direction. So what do I mean by all that? First and foremost, let's show you what the tick indicator looks like. The tick indicator is this one over here. It has an equilibrium of 0. This middle part over here is 0. And then anytime there's a balance out of the 2,800 stocks that are on the NYSE, if there is a balance of them making lower prints, you will see a negative reading. If the balance of them are making higher prints, you will see a higher reading. So it'll be plus 100 or minus 100. 2,800 stocks, say 1,800 are making an uptick, 1,000 are making a downtick, you'll see a reading of plus 800. Conversely, if 1,800 are making a downtick and 1,000 are making an uptick, you'll see a reading of minus 800. And the point is to see what the general direction is. Is it bullish or bearish? In addition to that, you can use it as a mean reversion. No, come back, please. You can use it as a mean reversion indicator. By that I mean, look at today. The highest we have is 636 positive, plus 636. Okay, so when we get to that level, on every single occasion, we've mean reverted back. So when you get to these extremes, you can almost assume that we are due for a mean reversion. They don't typically stay at these elevated levels, whether to the high side or the low side, for very long. And that's one of the things we're looking for here. So number one, we're looking for what is the direction of the market. Are mostly things moving up or are they moving down? And number one, where are we on the tick indicator, the tick index? Are we at extremes or are we in the middle somewhere? Okay? We use the extremes to help us get in and out of positions. Just want to make that very clear before we go on. All right? Now, let's talk about some rules. Let me just move this over so that I can look at my futures trade so I don't get punched in the face like I did yesterday. There should be, so what are we looking for? We're looking for a trending price action. We're looking for either higher highs and higher lows. That's what we want to discern right away. Are we in a consolidative market or are we trending? Whether we're trending down, whether we're trending up, we need to be able to discern a trend. So there should be a trending price action within the ES, which is what we're going to talk about. Making clearer higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend or lower lows and lower highs for a downtrend. Having a directional bias is the first key piece of information for this particular trading setup. And as I talk about that, we're making a move down here on the future, so I have to interrupt myself. I should probably just put my stop on this bad boy just below this area, but I just want to give myself some leniency. What I'm seeing here on the future are lower highs and this flat bottom, so I'm a little concerned that this is going to be a flat bottom break. I may actually switch short if I get stopped out here if we do this flat bottom, because we have a lower high, lower high, lower high with this flat bottom at 17,030, 17,035. So I'm keeping my eye on that, but just don't want to jump in quite yet. All right. This trend, back to the lesson now, this trend would need to be confirmed by analyzing 4 moving averages, EMA. So let's bring in the side chart and let's bring in all the indicators that we need. ES, March contract, here we go. Okay? What the hell is this? Oh. Okay, so are we making higher highs and higher lows as of late? Well, there's just no question about that. We already know it was a very strong November. We already, I'm going to have to send it to you because I'm going to have to put in a stop over here.
That's okay. Yeah, for sure. And also, while we do that, I will, we have someone we want to thank, which is Benzinga Pro.
Go for it.
So, yes. Honestly, where I get all my news, Sharif's always talking about it because it's very accurate. Look at, here we've got the giant bull, Magnificent 7 widens gap with the rest of the S&P 500, but that could change in 2024. Great news updates, so much to look at here. And how do you get involved? How do you, join Benzinga Pro? Well, just sign up today for 50% off their premium news and research platform for retail traders. So use the code TTV, capital letters, that is TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout. There you go. So let's also look at here. Let's look at Benzinga itself. Here we go. Here's the Benzinga Pro. I am on this all the time. Look, I was just looking at Micron to see, and then I found, Rosenblatt reiterated buy on Micron Technology. We have analyst news. Earnings, everything you want. Oh, accidentally pulling up things on keyboards. Let's look at, FedEx earnings, in case you're like, what did FedEx do on earnings? Well, look, I can tell you right here. They have it bolded in red. Really great platform. Excellent time. Also, I do have FedEx open on the chart. I was trying to get a short in here, but unfortunately the short got lost in the mail. No, I'm joking. I just was not going to chase this thing. It was falling way faster than I could get involved. But I'm going to see what we do here at this earlier area of consolidation earlier. around 1135, this 248.70, but I also, because this is pre-market where we were chopping around, so it could be an interesting area. But yeah, so there we go. Go Benzinga and also go FedEx to the downside. Already down 11%, but it seems like it wants to get lower. Yeah, thank you, Bears versus Bulls. Yes, it was a very easy pun to make, but also, yeah, NVIDIA fell out of that nice little attempted bull pennant it was making. It was like bull pennant who? I mean, look at this. I'm actually going to chart. I'm very bad at drawing these, but we're going to try. Bang. Bang. It looked like we did have this bull flag as well. We were up, or sorry, a flagpole. We were up on the day. It did really have all of the trappings of a delicious break to the upside. And then it said, you know what? I don't want to do that. Because the thing is too, is like, a big thing for me, especially with entries and exits last week with regards to patterns, is that sometimes they don't work out how you think they're going to. What I think is interesting though, is that where we're maybe starting to pick up again is this 497 area. Now, why is that significant? That was a really nice bottom earlier today. So I'm going to have to see what NVIDIA does at 497. I did have a little scalpulated short over here earlier in the sim. But yeah, no, I think this is a very interesting look indeed here on NVIDIA. What else do I have going here? Let's look at Tesla as well, because Tesla was one that I was kind of taking a little peek at. Yeah, Tesla is now kind of fallen. We're kind of we fell below this earlier kind of area of consolidation in the this 256.2. Let's see how we do at this 250.570, 250.540 area. I was talking to Adam DeLuz in the chat earlier about this area. We'll have to see what Tesla does here, because this is quite the short indeed. A nice ski slope down which the Cybertruck has been driving this afternoon.
I knew you were going to be on that. I like that. I like that. All right. Just got a bounced off VWAP here on the NQ. So I got out of my position, but I'm looking here. There was a big, like kind of a hammer looking candle. And that's typically, you know, quite bullish, even though this one did end up red. I'm talking about this candle over here. We got a touch right at yesterday's close on the NQ. So this white line is the previous day's close. We got a bounce right off that and a bit of a hammer candle. So kind of bamboozling. We're trading midday with no directional bias. So I'm hesitant to get into anything at the moment. So I'm just going to stay clear of any trades, and then we'll reassess if we can find a nice direction. But right now, nothing for me. I should have just probably waited to get a bounce off previous days. Fine. All right, let's go back into the lesson. Sorry, just had to quick pit stop there. Bring in the ES. Sorry about that. And continue what we were talking about. Lesson over here. So we should be looking for trending price action. If we're looking for higher highs and higher lows, obviously that's an uptrend. Look, lower highs, lower lows, we're looking for a downtrend. The other thing we need to be looking at is the gap. And so for today's purposes, I've removed all the price action for the overnight and morning trades, so that we can see the gap up between the closing price yesterday and the opening price for today and yesterday as well. So today we gapped down, prior day we gapped up. So that has to also be in our purview as well. Okay? And having a directional bias is the first key piece of information for this particular trading setup. This trend would then need to be confirmed by analyzing the 4 moving averages. And so the ones that we're going to use are the 10, 20, 50, and 200 EMAs. What you're looking for is basically none of the fake signals that we get in consolidated markets with moving averages. If you could come to the chart, Ramron. We didn't get any crossovers yet, but we're definitely getting awfully close for these ones converging. And so you're looking for these to be fanned apart. You want them to be spaced apart, showing you that there is a directional move. When they start becoming parallel, or you're going to have the 10 cross a 20, that's when we know we're going to either start reversing the trend, or we're going to start getting in this consolidative market, which gives fake signals in and out. Okay? So the trend needs to be confirmed by analyzing the 4 moving averages. For the example, in an uptrend, the shorter 10 EMA and the 20 EMA, the medium term 50 EMA, and the long term 200 EMA should be fanning out and in order. 10 above the 20 above the 50 above the 200. The 10 EMA and the 20 EMA are also useful to time an entry and exit as the price pulls back to them, okay? Now, the trade setup is taken on a small candle, and the trade should be in the direction of the opening market gap. So we already know we kind of gapped down on the day, right? But then we filled that gap, so that puts us in a bit of an outlier. In addition to filling that gap, we also broke yesterday's high. So that is a bullish look for myself. So then how do we figure a way in? Well, we got several doji candles here, candles of indecision that you can kind of base off. The strategy says to basically put your entry 1 point above the Doge and your stop 1 point below the Doge. And I'm not talking about Dogecoin. Identifying the gap. A gap in the chart is displayed as an empty space between the close of one candlestick and the opening of the next. Gaps are more common in the futures markets, and hence the reason the gap strategy is used by many futures traders. Gaps can provide a trading edge, but they shouldn't be used as the only reason to enter a trade. However, combined with reliable technical analysis, they can be used as they are easy to identify and offer a target, which is the gap close. So in this particular case, we already know we closed the gap yesterday. Come on, bro. We didn't actually close the gap because we gapped up. This was yesterday's price action. Yeah. So we already opened up here and we broke through the high. So that's what I would have been looking at for yesterday. Okay. Now the tick indicator, the one that we mentioned earlier, let's bring that back in. The tick indicator can be used as additional momentum direction indicator. When the tick hits an extreme reading, like we talked about in the 500 to 600 point range, okay, this can be interpreted as a contrarian indicator, because when there are too many buyers or too many sellers, the market tends to correct back to its mean, to the first balance. In this case, we're at a reading right now of plus 250. Or if a trend forms within the tick reading, this can also indicate continuation. In this particular case, we're not definitely getting any trend. All right. The gap strategy example. So we're going to talk about the rules. The rules of this particular futures trading strategy are simple. Considering the two examples here, I'll show you in a second, which here they are. Let me bring them in. Yes, this one right here. Considering the two chart examples below, which represent the 24-hour continuous contract and the gap chart on the E-mini, we can check. 1, is there a trending price action making clear higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend, or lower highs and lower lows for a downtrend? In our particular case, there is on the day, right? We can see that clearly here, higher highs, higher lows, and there goes the market. Goodness gracious, I'm going to freaking lose it. I've just taken it off that support. I don't know why I jumped into it too early. 2, is the trend confirmed by analyzing the 4 MAs? Yes, we don't have any bearish crossovers by the 10 through the 20 or the 20 through the 50. They're not exactly fanned out at the moment, but they are still, there's no bearish crossovers. 3, is there a small candle of indecision? In this particular, yes, there is. Okay, so we're gonna, the technique is to get in 1 tick above and to put your stop 1 tick below. Are the indicators converging with the price to the upside or the downside? And you're looking for, in particular, is the MACD and the tick indicator. So you're looking, are there more, is the tick indicator in plus or minus territory? If it's in minus territory, is it at extremes? If it's in plus territory, is at extremes? That's what you're looking for there. Also, I'd look for a different one as well, a different indicator to help me gauge where the market is. MACD, for example, that shows you where are buyers overwhelming sellers, sellers overwhelming buyers. In this particular case, we have a bit of a consolidation area here on the MACD where there's no clear direction, and that's to be expected midday. Okay, there we go. ES just made a new high day, 48.28. What's the NQ doing? Not at highs on the NQ yet. The ES is at highs though. So, oh, that's so frustrating. That's all good. Yeah, Yes, sorry, where was I? I'm trying to trade and do this at the same time, which is really kind of impossible. Yeah, so essentially what you're looking for here is what I've just talked about so far. You're looking for convergence between MACD and EMAs. You're looking for higher highs and higher lows in an uptrend, and you're looking for the direction of the gap. And if you get all those, you're basically basing it on the first candle of indecision. You're going to look to get in one tick above and put your stop one tick below. So far, if you did that today, you wouldn't have been stopped out on the first candle of indecision over here.
Yeah.
Hope that helps, yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think too, what I said too is I think I was mentioning this earlier as well. I like how we had on that chart the where we ended up gapping into was actually where we had some resistance in the previous day, right? So I think it still shows that even though who knows what we'll gap to, looking at previous levels can still pay off, is what I want to say there. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. Also, thank you to Eduardo Burgos for the $5 super chat. First super chat, no message here, but thank you so much for the chat. We really appreciate the support here. Also, so I am in a baby NVIDIA scalp long. I say a baby long because A, I took a teeny tiny amount of shares. Also, yeah, in the sim here. And B, the plan is to get out just before 498. Now, why 498? Because like Sharif has really helped me with this, kind of realizing the extent where previous support can become current resistance. We had a lot of support around this 498. So I want to get out before we hit 498 because that will get me nervous. And I know what I'm like. If I get a little bit of nervous, I'm going to run out of this trade. And I think that's why I like the kind of scalpier plans, but we still have to have a plan for them. That's why I'm calling them scalpulations.
There you go.
But yeah, thank you. So there we go. Oh, you got back into the futures there? Awesome. Also, yes, sorry, a message from Eduardo Burgos of the Super Chat. Thank you for all the free information you give us. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for the Super Chat. We appreciate all of the messages and all the people in this lovely community.
Yes, awesome. Microsoft making highs at the moment. As we talk, Brandy was asking me what Tesla was doing. Tesla's absolutely tanking, going back into the low of day. So possible interesting level here on TSLA. Looks like it's brewing for maybe a double bottom at this 255 and change level, coming up aggressively here through 256. Just took that level, but definitely off the highs at 259. Softy is the one that's really strong at the moment. It's currently at highs. It's making highs as we speak. 376, bouncing off VWAP quite nicely this morning. Well, yeah, around 11:30, 12, it was consolidating here with VWAP, but moving up since that time. Apple's been kind of quite flat, up 0.2%, just barely above yesterday's close at that 197 level, just a smidge above VWAP as well. A lot of these Mag 7 names are hugging VWAP, save and except for Tesla here, and a little bit maybe with NVIDIA. NVIDIA came into that 496 and change and then bounced right off yesterday's close. So the closing prints have been very good for some of these names, I mean, and they've been great for dip trades today, especially. You could have got one on AMZN here near yesterday's close. Same thing with Apple. Not so much with Google or Tesla, but definitely with NVIDIA as well. So good strength on these names as the market continues to move sideways and does nothing, Adara.
Yeah, the market's doing nothing. NVIDIA is not doing as much as I would like it to. We're going to get out of this a little bit earlier, I think, than planned, because it looks like we're not even going to get near that 498 kind of range I was keeping my eye on there. But yeah, so what I'm kind of looking for is now, at this point, is 497.25. Also just had really weird deja vu. Who knows? But yeah, so I'm kind of looking here at this 497.25. I don't know why that area is an area of deja vu for me. Let's look at the past NVIDIA chart, kind of see if the daily, if this has kind of been a level. You know what? Actually, NVIDIA almost double topping. So maybe this 497 area of consolidation is an area of importance, and that's why my brain was like deja vu moments. I don't know. But what a time. Hopefully we can get that little tiny pop here. I don't need too much from this move. Just trying to get into the habit of getting in and out of trades when I notice something moving. And in this case, I certainly have noticed something moving. Also, someone in the chat, Baby Buffett, love that name. What is Mag 7? The Mag 7 are the Magnificent 7, and they are the big, strong arm tech stocks of the market. They are Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, or Google, shout out to Obi, Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA. I don't think I missed any there. And they are, yeah, they're kind of the heavy hitters. Those are the ones with the high billion, or in the case of Apple, and I think maybe NVIDIA as well, trillion valuations. So they're like the big, as Sharif would put it, like the big boy kind of heavy hitter tech stocks. Also, thank you, Rock Doc in the chat. Way to go. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, NVIDIA is not ready to go yet. NVIDIA is like chugging along here. I guess its microchip is having a slow day. But there we go.
Yeah, with respect to some small cappers, the only one really like worth talking about is this POL. It's had a nice move up on the day. Polished.com, good move up, over 250% here. Did basically nothing the last few days. Was quite, very limited in its trading, just a smidge above a buck. Gaps up quite aggressively today from the closing price yesterday, which was $1.09. We gap up to that 221 area, and we definitely broke through that pre-market high. If you earmarked that 237 area, no, this one actually is not showing me the pre-market. I gotta look at a different chart for that. 1 second. Yeah, we can look at this one. POL. Yeah, this is the pre-market high over here. We had this earmarked, this 251 area. If you had kind of followed some of the rules that we talked about for trading some of these small cap gappers, take the break of pre-market high and make sure it's above VWAP. You've been printing a factory today. 251 was the pre-market at 250, and then it got all the way up to 4.25, 423 technically. Trying to hold now and not make a newer low. So the low over here was the $3, and then up here was 3.25, so it hasn't made a newer low, technically still a higher low, but hasn't made a higher high. It needs to breach that 4.25, looking to knock on the door of $4 again. Look at all these wicks into 4, all of which were rejected. So telling you that 4 definitely is a level that we need to be aware of right now on POL Adara.
Yeah, that $4 is a really strong level, and I think like that the whole looking at wicks to kind of see where we actually have that support and resistance has been really key. So I'm a little distracted here, just trying to pull up DIS Disney here for the Crazy Stitch Lady. Unfortunately, this dark pool wick is kind of making life a little difficult on Disney.
Unreal.
Oh, sorry, Sean. Sarcasm and not nasty. Yeah. Sean said, "What dark pool wick?"
Yes.
Which was very funny, and I missed that one there. But yeah, I mean, Disney is down on the day. When I'll zoom in a little bit just so we can kind of see. Right-click it.
Yeah.
Oh, data editor for one candle. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, Sean. 93.50. Thank you, Sean.
Oh, that's a great little hack there. I used to go through a whole longer process to fix that. I can show Disney on my chart here, and then you can kind of
thank
analyze
you, Sean,
it.
though. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, Pole just absolutely flew to the high side, guys. 474. We were just talking about that $4 coming in, being a level of resistance. Look at Pole absolutely fly up here. Do we have, yeah, it looks like we topped out at 474. We're still getting some buying here in the mid 460s, but definitely taking out that earlier high of 424. What strength. Look at that, on over 1 million shares on this one particular candle over here, helping propel this to the high side. Great look on POL. I didn't give you guys any deets on this one. 2 million share float with a market cap of 9.78 million. So needless to say, it's micro cap, small cap world over here. But yeah, definitely a lot of volatility in this name. Good direction on POL. What is the headline for this bad boy over here? And this is called polish.com. Let's see what the, here it is. Thinking about buying stocks. Okay, this is not it. Let's see if we can see, not seeing any commentary. All right, Benzinga reporting they're not seeing any news on it. A new high of day coming in here. Oh, we're moving up big, 489, looking to come into $5. But Polish shares up over 200%, not seeing any company-specific news to justify the price action, reports Benzinga. So can't really explain why this bad boy is moving, but nonetheless, it is moving, and we are coming into that $5 area. You got Disney ready?
Yeah, I have Disney. Thank you so much, Sean, helping me with the dark pool wick life hack there. Really appreciate it.
Killer Katina.
Yeah, Killer Katina. I like that. Yeah, look at this triple top on Disney on the 5-minute right after open. First top, second top, third top. They are slightly, you know, sort of indifferent. It's more or less the same. We have like 94.06, 94.1. 94.8. Yeah, like slightly kind of like a podium style. I guess triple top where one is slightly higher than the other, but then we fell from there. Next level that I'd be interested in now that we're kind of dancing around this this pre-market area of interest, which would be 93.45. Now we're just slightly below that where we had that consolidation, so that's something I would keep my eye on because pre-market levels, you know, as Sharif was kind of saying, can be really key to kind of get a sense of where the market might have some resistance or support. And so then my next area of interest is going to be this 93.20. Why? Because that was where we had that big swoop up right at the open or right before the open. And then my last area of interest is going to be this this 93, I guess, 02, because that was where we had that big last movement to the downside. So that is my quick look on Disney, on the House of Mouse, if you will.
Poll's going to halt, by the way.
Oh.
Poll looks like, oh, okay, false
Instead of
halt.
a pull vault, it would be a pull halt.
The Chilean Nightmare absolutely like that. That was you? Okay,
Thank
okay,
you,
okay.
Sean. Thank you.
I like that. I love killing it, Adara.
But yeah, this is I just heard that and was like, I can't not say it. Yeah, so Disney, no, I'm not saying anything on Disney right now, but yeah, this one always in the news in some way or another. I knew that the new Wish movie that I heard was not, I didn't hear great things about, but I mean, you know, I'm obviously not like the target audience. But yeah, so I think we'll have to see if Disney can wish upon a star and continue to see what happens here. Definitely a move to the downside. And yeah, like I said, I think these key 93.30, 93.20, and then 93 areas will be key for Disney.
Yeah, bang. Is poll halted? No, poll, there it is. Finally, poll halting at $5.51. What a rocket ship this stock has been. And like we were just talking about it through $4, saying, oh, 4 is resistance. Well, it just took that with $1.50 plus. What a move up. Halted at that $5.50 area, technically $5.51. The tap is showing up here at $5.51, 419.81%. So essentially 420% move on the day. It is very small cap, very small float, 2 million share float. Obviously, that tells you that this can absolutely be manipulated by a big account, which can, have we had float rotation? Volume, 78.7 million. So we've done the float like 35 times over already. What a rocket ship this has been. I'm going to lose it on this manpower team that keeps sending me spam. Kill them. Nice move up on the future as well. Let's see if we get that continuation. We just got a higher high through the break of that flat top at around 17.056, but nothing really to write home about on the future. But attempting to take a second trade on this bad boy. Maybe we touch highs. Obviously, it's midday and it is like a slower time of the week with Christmas coming in and Monday being a holiday. So we'll have to see if we get continuity, keeping my eye on some of the Mag 7 names to see if they're going to start trending up. We got NVIDIA trending up at the moment. Likewise with Softy and Meta. Not so much Google, Apple, and Tesla, but we'll have to see what we get out of this bad boy. Nicely in the money on this one. We're going to let you go though, right? Because Big Patty Ice is going to come on for an hour. You guys remember him. His name is Patrick. He is the one sitting behind me right here.
He's the one named Sailor Moon. That's where I thought that was.
Nah, I'm not going to do that, Tim. Come on, yeah.
You said he's the one, and I was like, maybe not.
I didn't get to actually sing that.
He's the one named Patty.
There you go. Poor guy.
I'm the worst.
And there is an auction at 1 o'clock, Adara, so we have to be cognizant of that because, well, we know what the 20-year auction has done in the past. So
thanks.
Yes. So we'll let Adara go for now, and we'll give Patty some time to set up. Between then and now, we can talk a little bit about the markets. Anything you guys want me to look at? Yeah, just let her go. Okay. Anything you guys want me to look at in the chat, tell me. I know we got poll halted. I see you guys, Nadir. Poll halted at $5.51. We're going to let that one simmer. And once it opens, we'll have another look at it. But the future is pumping up now, baby. We just broke through. Oh, baby. We're 9 points off highs. And I have a big L that I got to make up for. So let's go, future. Let's take through those highs. I just wish I got the dip over here, and I had this actually earmarked on my chart as the closing print. It said, Sharif, get a dip trade. Don't take this long. Took it long over here. Got stopped out right before I would have got long. So it pays to be patient, especially to wait for your levels to come in. But so far, so good on this trade. We'll see if we get any continuity on this name. We are about 10 points off the highs. Let's see. James Dell, LOL, Sharif, Neil, Sean, myself have all drank the natty ice. Okay. The Salty Bear, Sharif, what do you think of the alligator indicator? It has me absolutely on fire today. I don't even know what the alligator indicator is. I'm not going to pretend like I know what that is. I can do some research, find out what it is for you, but not today, obviously, because, well, I'm doing the show. Roadblock, what's up, man? Shout out from the Philippines. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Viewers from all over the world. Day trading doesn't discriminate between borders. You can day trade from anywhere so long as you have a brokerage account. Shout out to you guys. Nick Dubb, can you look at Nike going into earnings? Absolutely. I don't remember when Nike's earnings are. When are they? Thursday, the Katina man says. Thank you for that. Nike is going to report on Thursday. Yeah, we looked at this yesterday, actually. I should remember that. Let's have a look. So, what is Nike doing on the day? I won't know because these charts are so messed up. NKE, it's up 0.44%. Let's look at the wider time frame, though. Let's look at the daily, see if we can chart any levels on the daily here. Okay, wow, what a move back up for Nike, man. Those October lows were bad. Got into that $87 area. Now we're at 100, almost 125. 123.26 is the high of day today. So good look for Nike. Very zigzaggy, obviously, especially off that double top during the pandemic that we made over here at that $180 area, and then it was kind of down into the right. This is the level that I'd be looking for to break, this 128, 130 level. We've been below this level all year. Even when we got that January pop, it wasn't able to break 130, at least on a closing basis. So, you know, we're not far away from that. We're only about 7 points or so away. So this is an interesting area. If we break through this area, that'll be very interesting, number one, because I expect likely to encounter some resistance there. But I wouldn't be jumping into this too aggressively yet. But what I do see here on the daily is a possible inverse head and shoulders. So you have left shoulder over here, the right shoulder over here, and there's the head. And what does the inverse head and shoulder tell us? It is a reversal pattern, meaning that it is bullish because it's reversing the trend that preceded it. And the trend that preceded it, pretty easy to see, was a downtrend. So this is one hell of an inverse head and shoulders here on NKE. I like this pattern, very, very bullish, but I definitely want to see the break of that 130 on a closing basis to really, really look at the longer term picture here. But there it is, NKE, inverse head and shoulders from the week that we talked about chart patterns. I like it a lot, Nick Dubb, but I'd like to see a print above 130 to really get me going here. Magic Mike, I really admire you taking these longs. That was one scary one. And there it goes. Just like I'm there, I'm out of the money again on the futures. It comes right back down to 17.050. We'll see if this holds as a level of support or not. Could take that 15-point winner, but what's the point in that? Diamond Realty, POL at 650. POL absolutely keeps pumping to the high side. Well, we'll just bring it over here. Let's see what this one did. Wow, there it is. So we know that gapped up into that, closed out at that 551 area, held 5. So even though it made a move down after opening up, held 5, rocketing up to $7.40. It's now up 575% on the day. Here it goes again, approaching that high of day, 740. It's dancing at 7.25 right now, holding up through that high, holding up, yeah, at the high of day. And here we go. We're about to print another high of day. Let's see if there's any size here on the ask. We're looking for 740. Some decent size, nothing really to write home about or anything that's going to prevent us from moving. So if we definitely, okay, so we do have an iceberg. And there it goes. New high of day on POL. $7.82 HOD on this bad boy. This is continuing to go. It's just a matter of time until we see 8, it looks like, up over 625% now. All sorts of crazy price action happening here. 82 million shares done on the day. Guys, this is a 2 million share float. So we've already gone through the float 40 times. 40 times float rotation in one day. That should give you an idea about the volatility of the stock. This one just absolutely rocketing to the high side. And there goes $8. 8.18 high of day now on POL. I'll just watch this one continue to fly up 650% as Patty gets set up, baby. Wow, what a move up here on POL. I'm still involved in this futures trade. Flat on it at the moment, but it's holding 17,050. But all the real action here is happening on polished.com. By the way, guys, this is an Amex stock. So it trades on the Amex exchange. And if you're trading using PPRO8, that's .am. So keep your eye on that. Alex Gilmore, this is on crack. Yeah, it's nuts. Low volume auction, says West. Okay, so we did get the auction. Forgot about that. Okay, here we go. The 20-year bond. The previous print on the 20-year was 4.780. That was the yield. The higher the yield, the lower the demand. This time around, 4.213, much lower, about half a point lower on the 20-year bond. That means it was met with more demand, even though it may be at historical lows. The fact is we're comparing to the previous print. Good look on the 20-year note auction. Continuing to move here to the high side is the future, and right back up we go on the future. So hopefully this bond auction can help propel the future through highs. 17,073 is the high on the NQ. We'll see if we get a breakthrough there, but nice little buy up candle here on the futures. It moved right back down. Looking to move right back up, guys. Chart, yeah, 17,065 looks like is a local high. You ready to go, my man?
I am. Just looking
Big Patty Ice getting ready there. There you go.
My blotter over here.
Yeah, take your time, my man. We don't have to rush you. Pole Dancer says, stop console wars, you joker, you. John Del Segno, was there a bond auction today? Yes, sir, the 20-year. We just had a 20-year note auction at 1 o'clock. I just read the results of that bad boy. Elon, hi, Sharif. With small caps like Pole, without knowing what triggered the move up, is it really worth to chase? Like, you know, the charter technical analysts like chartered market technician, like Michael Moss, will just tell you, all I need to know is there is a catalyst. I'm not really interested in what the catalyst is. The market will tell me through the price action whether it's bullish or bearish. You know, some people can't stomach that type of thinking. Other people love it because it kind of helps them narrow their focus and removes all the other noise. The point of the matter is, Pole is absolutely rocketing to the high side. So if you get involved, you know, you can get involved off key technical levels like charting the pre-market high like we talked about earlier. This would be the look here on Pole. There it is. Let me just zoom out. Well, we don't have the pre-market price action here, sadly, because it starts later. Let's bring in this one over here. And you can recall from the week that we talked about small caps, the go-to move for me is to see what the pre-market high was. I'll put an indicator at the pre-market high, and if it breaks above the pre-market high, that's what I'll take it north. And the pre-market high, guys, is at 250. So this is absolutely catapulted to the north side, breaking through that 250 high and going all the way up to 840. It's at $7.71 at the moment, but yeah, that's basically how I would tell you. It's got to be above VWAP for me to get interested. It's also got to be breaking through the pre-market high. I also look at the float to see what kind of stock it is. Is it a low floater? Do I have to worry about manipulation? What is the amount of volume done relative to the float? So the R-vol, so I can kind of gauge the float rotation there. So that is what we talked about. We can go back on that day and watch everything that I explained. Ganesh, can you please explain how bond auction affects the futures? High demand equals bullish market. Well, typically what you have here is yields move inversely with equities. So I'm talking about bond yields. The higher the bond yields are, right, the more enticing they are for people to park their money there in the money market, right? So I'm sure you've seen all these savings accounts and other, you know, different types of accounts offering you high yield, whether it's in the actual note itself or in with the actual bank with whatever type of account. So when the yields come down, it becomes more interesting to remove your money from the money market and put them in equities where you're looking for growth. So the inverse correlation there is important. So when the yield comes in low on the bond auction, that means there was more demand for the actual note itself. And so the yield will be lower. And because the yield is lower, that's bullish for equities. Hope that helps. Okay. Stop console wars. Hey, is J-Lo okay with Ben Affleck working the trade desk next to you today? Oh, okay. All right. So Big Patty Ice looking like Ben Affleck. All right. I see the implications there. All right. Okay. Ben Affleck and else, you're getting love from the chat. They're calling you Big Ben Affleck. Nah, man. His name's Big Patty Ice. That's what that is. He ain't no Ben Affleck. NQ bullish, says Norbert. Yes, well, hopefully it remains bullish because we're in this NQ long, and it would just be fantastic if we were able to print to the high side here. But not really getting much love from that auction at the moment. You know, we got a nice little bounce up, but nothing to really write home about. I'm not really that surprised about it. This is going to be a slower week as you know, a lot of people take vacations and leave a little bit early for Christmas break, and that's to be expected. We're going to have the same thing next week as well. That's why we're going to have Alfred come on, talk a little fundamental investing, etc. You good to go?
I'm good, yeah.
All right. What's up? We got Big Patty Ice in this. How are you,
doing?
My boy? Chilling. Good, Everything's good. How was the day?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's been a little nuts today, but
I bet. Yeah. Is this your first sesh trading in the winter through the Christmas break?
Well, here for sure.
Yeah, here, of course.
At home, no.
You've traded in these markets before. I like it. Any trades you can take us through today and we can talk about?
Well, like I said last time I was on, what's up, everyone? Mara.
Yes.
It was a beast, right? It was a beast this morning, and but I waited. I knew. I watched this movie many times before, man. and then you know, and everyone, especially when everyone's pushing it.
Yes.
You can ask Justin, sits beside me. I'm like, Justin, I go, just wait for that initial bang, right?
Yes.
Let it come through, and then we take it short. And I just missed my short at 24.25.
Okay, so you were looking short.
Yeah.
All right, so take us through the trade. Take us through your thinking. What the approach was. Anything that deliberatively that you would be doing.
I just think Mara is ready to take your money at any point in time. Whenever it can, it's ready to take it, right? It's been popping, like I was talking to Naveen last Monday.
Yes, sir.
And on my personal account, I was like, it dropped 15% today. It's at 14.25.
Right.
I'm thinking maybe I should take it long. And we were talking. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to take it because I don't hold overnight. Right. Not with mid caps like that. It's stuff like Apple and stuff that
Fair.
It's not gonna die, right?
Right.
And it didn't. Then it's gone up $10 a share since then, right? So,
it's insane, eh? It's been very strong.
Yeah, and like when you have a movement like that over the last.
Maximize this bad boy so everybody can look at that. Yeah, Mara.
Right here.
Yeah, that's the one right there. Beauty.
Yeah. So when you had a movement from 14.25, and now we hit 24.31, I believe the high was today. And you know what? It normally with Mara, what it does, if you saw yesterday too, it kind of does the opposite of what it does first thing in the morning.
Right.
So yesterday it dived right off the hop, and then what did it move up? $2?
Yeah.
2 something a share.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I'm just, like I said before, I'm just very weary when it comes to like these crazy trades and stuff like that.
Right.
It shot up from, it opened at, what did it open at? 23.20 something today, and it went up $1 in what, 3 seconds?
It was ridiculous.
You know, and then it shot back down $1.30, and it came back up. So I just waited for it to get to like more of a reasonable level. Right. Where it's not gonna just hit me, 50, 60 cents. Because I like to hit it with a lot of shares, right? So
let me ask you some questions about the general industry. Are you a crypto guy? You interested in crypto at all?
No, not at all.
You don't even care about crypto.
No,
so it's not about, the name. You're looking clearly at the technicals here.
I just like it because it has volume and it moves, right? So if I want to get in for a lot of shares, I can get in. If I want to get out, I can get out, right? Sir. And there's a lot of volatility, right?
It's up on the year. Do you know how much it's up on the year, dude? It is up ridiculous amounts on the year. Let me tell everybody. Mara is up 591% on the year. 591%. Compare that to Riot, which is like kind of like the sister stock of Mara. They're both mining names. 417 for Riot. So Mara is like the gift that keeps on giving if you've been long all year.
Yeah,
right?
unless you bought it at $79.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that? Yes, I do.
Go talk to that guy, right?
Yeah,
See
he's
how
not
feeling.
happy. Yeah.
See how he's feeling at $22. He still has to go another 200% from here.
Oh yeah, that
Right,
was a
so-
ridiculous amount. I mean, when Bitcoin was at 66,000, right? Everybody and their mother was buying Bitcoin. Even my mom wanted to buy Bitcoin. I'm like, Mom, you don't have to buy the whole Bitcoin. You can get partials of Bitcoin. She's like, no. I want one coin.
Good for her.
Right? I'm like, okay, Mom, you don't have to buy it. Like, it's not like a coin that you hold. You know, it's not like the loonie. It's just called Bitcoin, Mom. Buy as many as you want or as few as you want. No, I want one Bitcoin.
I wish you were there.
She's going to hear me now and she's going to be like, don't make my voice sound like...
What's up,
She watches
Sharif's
the
mom?
show,
How are
right?
you? I wish you were there when my brother told me to buy Bitcoin at 54,000.
Oh, yeah?
Shout out to you. Thank you for that.
Shout out Patty's brother.
Yeah, we're still a bit away, but we're on our way back.
Redna says CLSK also up 440%. Yes, that is something that we neglected to talk about, and that is something that I did add to my watch list. Thank you for pointing that out. We talk often about Riot and Mara as like the only important names for mining. No, CLSK is a monster as well. It's up 9% on the day. It's actually up more than Bitcoin. Let's bring in CLSK over here as the market starts tanking again. Jeez. Not going to get a moment's peace around here. CLSK is going to take a little bit of time to load on my chart. There it is. But yeah, nice move up on CLSK. Let's look at the hourly. See how it's been doing on the year. But it is one hell of a name, and it has been, as well as you can tell, it's been up over 456%. So rivaling Riot as well. If this ever loads, this might be nice to talk about, but it's not going to load, so we're just going to have to keep waiting on this. Sharif's mom in the chat probably not too pleased. Yeah, I haven't seen him make any comments lately, so he was in there initially. Yeah, here's the look on CLSK. This is the hourly chart, guys. Obviously, we've been running up on these mining names, these coin names, Patty, because everybody and their mother's talking about the ETF, the spot ETF that's supposed to make its way onto the market for Bitcoin, and maybe later for ETH and some of the other names as well.
And when did they say that's coming?
That's the thing. It was a bit of a war between the SEC and then these names, these applicants. First, it was GBTC, Grayscale. They kind of started the whole thing. They're like, no, we want to transfer our trust, it's called a Bitcoin trust, into an ETF. And the SEC said, no, we don't want it. Bitcoin's too volatile. It's too manipulated. Take that garbage and get out of here with it. So they sued them. GBT sued the SEC. They took them to court and they won. And so the court forced the SEC to reconsider. So now, whereas the SEC was like completely dismissive anytime it was brought up, now they're like starting to engage in dialogue with these companies. We know ARK has applied, BlackRock has applied, Fidelity, we know GBTC as well. So a lot of big names looking to get in on the Bitcoin trust here, Patty.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Anything you want to chat about, or?
I'm just looking at Mara over here.
Just keeping an eye on Mara.
So I'll be honest with you. I think I could be wrong, but I think Mara, you take dip buys. You take dip buys on Mara right now.
Any particular spot you're thinking looks good to you? Any area of support you like, or just on the daily?
So if it gets back to VWAP, it's at 2334.
Okay. Let's load up Mara.
I like a wick below that, just to shake out the rest of the people that are trying to buy off of VWAP. So maybe, I don't know.
Let's show everybody on the chart what we're talking about so they can follow along with it.
Bring my chart down.
Yeah, sure. All right.
This is VWAP.
So what are we looking at? Is that the daily? Is that the intraday? Is that the 3 minute?
The 3 minute, yeah.
All right, let's maximize that bad boy. So because people sometimes they watch us on small screens, they can't.
Yeah. Okay, so it's
So where's your VWAP at?
right here.
That's the blue one.
The
So
blue
that's
line.
VWAP. Okay,
Yeah,
beauty. And then so that would be an interesting trade in and around VWAP. But like, what was the relationship like with VWAP earlier? Because you know how I always tell Adara, I'm like, look at what the particular indicator and the particular name are doing together. Is it respecting VWAP, or is it just being like,
Off of this last push over here, it's bounced almost pretty much 3 times. But over here we had a little bit of a gap to hit VWAP.
Yep.
So what I'm thinking is it's either on this level right here, this 2354 level where it's at right now, are we going to come down to VWAP and bounce back up? I think so, because what happens with Mara, it always gets everybody in, like it did this morning. Everyone was so excited, get in, and then it just comes in the tanks. But if you look at yesterday's chart, same thing. Comes in, it brings you down to the middle of the day, and then it slowly comes up. And you know, you have those big wicks that'll scare everyone out again, right? And then it wicks down, and it comes back up, it comes down. So I'm looking at, before I even get in again, at this 2333, 2334 level, maybe with an in at 2326. And then if it breaks that, maybe you just get out right away and then wait.
Yeah, well, it's coming in hot right now.
Yeah, it's coming in hot.
It's coming. It looks really good right now. Let's see what it does at VWAP. Where's your VWAP? Because oftentimes, you know, my price is a little bit different than what I see on P/08. What price is your VWAP there?
2335.
2335, yeah. So mine is 2337. Yeah, no difference there. We're not going to talk about a couple penny difference. Yeah.
Why is that? Like, why does that happen?
Because it depends on what time the data starts. So P/08, they start collecting data around 6:30, 7. It really depends. Mine, this platform over here starts collecting at 4 a.m.
Okay.
Right. So as you can see here, like this is what we gapped up big, and that's a beautiful look on Mara yesterday. So the closing print yesterday on Mara was closing level 21.97, so just a smidge below 22 bucks. And then the first print we had this morning at 4 a.m., 22.46. So right away, we're already gapping up above yesterday's price. So that, in my books, is bullish right away, because I'm like, okay, we're strong on the day. And then look what happened at the opening bell. Yeah, well, not even the opening bell. What time was that? 8 a.m. We started really trending up, holding VWAP, amazing. Now just got a nice bounce off that VWAP area into 23.37, popping back up into the 40s here. Would you be interested if we broke through this high? So, like, are you more interested in getting dip trades, or do you like these breakout trades? For example, like I'd be interested in getting maybe like a quarter or half the position off the dip on VWAP, and then maybe taking another quarter or half if it was to break this high up here. What's your look on that?
I don't ever like position into trades. I take it
right away.
Everything right away, and if it goes in what I was saying, then sure.
Yeah.
I can see exactly what we were talking about, right? Close to VWAP, and boom. Just again.
Go to this chart.
I could be wrong here. I could be totally wrong.
Oh, all of us can always be wrong.
But
on the trading.
Again, Mara's just there to scare everybody out, right? Scare everybody out. Listen, Bitcoin's moving up, right? 2 days ago, Bitcoin was down $700 a thing, and Mara just skyrocketed.
Yeah, which is really weird. I mean, how these mining names are running when Bitcoin is moving down, right? Yeah. And some people asking, can you overlay Bitcoin on Mara's chart? So yeah, so what we can do is I can try to wait for the daily to load, because you know, for whatever reason, Mara takes forever to load. There it is. There's the daily on Mara, and then we can overlay Bitcoin by going to secondary series, go BTC, and search BTC. We can overlay that bad boy, apply OK, and then we're gonna have to wait again, Patty, here. So there we go. Okay, so
we're looking pretty similar.
Yeah, so the yellow line, this is Bitcoin right here. Let me just make this thicker so everybody can see. Oh, I can't. That's too bad. Well, you can see basically here, this is Bitcoin. So they started moving up together. Yeah. But there were times where Bitcoin was sideways and Mara popped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like back in July, Bitcoin was absolutely sideways, didn't really make any higher highs, whereas Mara really popped. But there you go. There's a lot more convergence between these two bad boys as of late, especially with this huge move up here on BTC. That's a look between Mara and Bitcoin. And you can tell, look, in my sim trade, I'm long 150 shares of Mara, and I'm big on it. This is sim. This is my platform, my own like personal account, but I use the sim because I don't want people seeing my account number. For sure. Yeah, all right. You have people asking, why are you using the sim on your personal account? Because I don't want you guys seeing my account number, that's why. Yeah, no disrespect to any of you guys.
And like we said, right? Like what happened? We had our dips over here, and right back.
Right back up. And I like that candle. So show Patty's chart. So to me, I know like we talk about technicals all the time, but that to me, that's a nice reversal candle right there. You don't want to put too much stock into one candle, especially on the 3-minute chart. But when the candle has a lower body like that and then closes near the highs, that's typically showing that buyers are overwhelming sellers. And then when you get the subsequent candle breaking through the highs of that doji candle, then you're really kind of confirming that kind of look. What's the green area? Is that Bollinger Bands?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not too sure.
That part right there, yeah. I think you should. You can actually be able to see that on your what's it called? Yeah, pull that bad boy down. Yeah, right there. No, that click. See that arrow? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that hit it. Okay, bring it back down again. Sorry. So I don't know. Oh, that's a standard deviation on your VWAP. That's sick. So you have one standard deviation lines above VWAP, so you can kind of see where that is. And that's basically what Bollinger Bands is, but you're turning VWAP into kind of like a Bollinger Band indicator by having a standard deviation lines of one above and one below. That's really interesting. I didn't even know you could do that on TradingView.
Well, if I told you I did it on purpose, I'd be lying to you. So
whatever the case, man,
Whatever
you're enlightening me here. You're broadening my horizons. I didn't know you could do standard deviations off VWAP. That's really interesting. I don't know how much that's used in the market, but yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, I just added VWAP and then it came like that.
With standard deviations included, batteries included.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
There you go, baby.
Hold
Yeah,
that
we're
back
moving.
down.
We're moving a little sideways here on the market. Let's just do a quick NQ check. Been involved. I don't know why the position board is not showing my position, but I've been involved in this NASDAQ trade off of the break of 50. What I do like about this is all the wicks into 50, previous area of resistance have all been bought up. So we know that we were encountering resistance at that 17,050 with wicks above 17,050 all rejecting. And then you got the decided break over here when it flipped. We got into that 17,066 high in this consolidation area over here. And then the wicks into 50 are being bought up. So making me feel like I've caught in the right trend, because we've been talking about this wicking dance. We wick into a level, a key level that was either support or resistance prior, and then you find buyers or sellers, depending on whether we're going long or short, at that level, helping propel the price back up. So we'll have to wait and see whether we get continuity and a break through the previous or the day's high, which is 17,073 at the moment. What I'll definitely be looking for is a hold on a closing basis on a 5-minute chart of the 17,050. 17,050 breaks. I'm taking out this trade. I'm seeing a consolidation area here with support at 17,050, and if that isn't the case, then my thesis is wrong, and it's time for me to hit the bricks and get out of here. People asking questions for you though, Patty, so we got to get some of that.
Let's hear it.
Crapstock, gotta love the name. Crapstock asks, how long has Patty traded for, bro?
It's been about since 2020. I started in March of 2020, pretty much like everybody else. Well, not everybody else, but like people that got into it off of the hype, right?
Yeah,
COVID,
of course.
You're at home, you're doing nothing, right? So maybe about just over 3 years, you know? Yeah.
So when you were at home during COVID, did you kind of like do this thing where like, this is how I got into trading, by the way. I'm like, okay, so what is there to do? I end up finding the show. I know you weren't a viewer of the show before, but you know, what kind of got you looking like, what was really what attracted you into trading during COVID?
Like there was a span of like 5 days where the market just dropped. I think it was March 23rd. It dropped to 30% in 3 or 4 days. I didn't know anything about stocks, but like 30% is 30%. Right?
Absolutely.
And then yeah, I got in over there, and I thought it was smart, and like, oh wow, look at me. At that point, you got in, down 30%, then it went.
Who's going to complain about that? And I talk about my buddy Alfred all the time on the show, and he was buying dips hand over dang fist at a time when I didn't know too much about the market. I'm not going to lie to you. March 2020, still getting my feet wet, learning a little bit about it, whereas he had been involved in the stock market for years and years, and so he knew that this was like an outlying event, and that, you know, you only get one of these once a decade, once every 2 decades, maybe twice a decade if you're lucky. And so he would put everything that he had, and he was buying the market at that level.
For him.
But he's so stubborn. He held some of these ones through the January 2021 high all the way back into the 2022 lows. He's the most stubborn individual you will meet. He's going to be coming on the show next week. We're going to be talking at the big desk.
What was his name? Sorry?
Alfred.
Alfred.
Like Batman's butler.
The greed. It'll get you, man. it'll get you every time, man.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, guys, there is no denying this. Poll is absolutely rocketing to the high side, guys. 756%. It just touched that $9.40 high, breaking down now below $9. Oh my goodness, it had just tanked into $7.50, so it just dropped $2. How did this not halt? That's got to be more than 10%. but it's got to stay at that level for a while, I guess. And then right back up above $8. This is why I'm not trading this, because it's absolute psychotic movement. So hard to manage risk, especially when managing risk is one of the most important things you have to do here on the prop floor, Patty. I mean, you're not going to get involved in this name, are you?
No,
No, you stay away from those. You have no affinity for these small cap crap.
I don't care. I've been watching. Listen, guys, you can make money everywhere in the stock market, right? So figure out what you like. Unless you're like great like these guys that they can jump into 3 or 4 different trades at one time. I personally can't do that.
Yeah.
So I stick to what I like, and
that's fair. I think that makes eminent sense, man.
How's it going today for you, buddy?
Not too good. Took a punch in the face on one futures trade, up on this one right now, looking for continuity. Yep. Hopefully that makes up for the boneheaded trade earlier. But yeah, we'll see. Kind of really consolidative. Not something that I didn't anticipate. I kind of knew today would be a little bit, indecisive. Let's see what everybody's chatting about here in the chat. Tesla breach back into daily uptrend, says the salty bear. Yeah, Tesla's below VWAP at the moment. It's having trouble breaking through 257, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Everybody's yelling about Pole as well. They should be. Alfred the Chicken says, Angry Bear, do you want to get blocked? Sounds like they want to get blocked, Angry Bear. Check yourself. Bait on Pole, says Short Smeller. Yeah, it did look a little bit of a baity move, but it looks like it's continuing here as we move right back up above $8, looking to knock on the door of $8.50 again. But yeah, that rejection off that 940 and down into 650. No, where did it come down to? Came into, yeah, geez, that $7 area was quite baitish. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not we get continuity. Let's see what else. Yeah, Fox. If you know more about Kodak, you will know that the current stock price of Kodak is very abnormal. Why? What's Kodak doing today? I mean, all I remember is Kodak back in 2020. Katina, man, do you remember what your Kodak was? Was that 2020 or 2021? It was a meme stock. Yeah, exactly. I just don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021. Maybe it was. Yeah, let's have a look here on KODK. There it is. Look at this, Patty. Look at that move. Yeah, this is what Kodak is. I mean, let's put that in. I haven't seen Kodak do anything lately, but yes, Kodak was definitely a meme stock. It was July 2020. Now it all comes back, baby. I'll never forget this stock. Went to $60 in a couple of days, and then you know what happens after that. We've been trending below $5 for a while, and it's very consolidated with lower highs and lower lows, so nothing really to get excited about, but it's having a green day today. No, Katina, man, he would never touch that kind of stuff. He thinks all this stuff is absolute garbage. Yeah, exactly. So, yes, shout out to you, Fox. You're an OG for knowing about Kodak there, my man. Elon, Oracle on the cusp of breaking out. All right, we'll have a look there in a second. Kevin Johnson, Sharif, you can change what is displayed in the account field in TWS to whatever you like. It's in the web settings, account alias. Thank you so much. That actually helps. I'm going to look at that later. Account alias. Okay, that's really good to know. Let's move down here. Marcus Hines. Can you take a look at Docu? You want to have a look at Docu for Marcus Hines? Do a little bit of an assessment there. All right, Big Patty Ice.
Before we do that, take a look at that 30-cent swoop.
There it is, sir.
Right? Just off of it. Didn't hit VWAP, but
it was a damn good-looking candle.
We're right there, right?
Yep.
So I was afraid that maybe it comes to VWAP, scares everyone out a bit, and then comes from there. But hey, man. This is where we are. So Docu, right?
Yes, sir. Docu looks, yeah. I can pull it up. Yeah, absolutely. No worries. DOC. Let's have a look at Docu. Who was asking for that again? Yes, Marcus Hines. All right, let's have a look. Well, so Docu got downgraded today, guys. So Wells Fargo downgrading, DocuSign and Zoom. Both of these bad boys got downgraded. So let's first of all take Bitcoin off the overlay. We still have Bitcoin there. We don't need that. Apply, okay. So Bitcoin's gone. Now let's have a look here at what the overall look is. Well, we know Aunt Kathy was buying this in the 200s and the 300s, so Aunt Kathy a little bit underwater. But as of late, Patty, what have we been doing on Docu? So January over here, looks like we're not really up or down on this stock. Let's see what we are on the year, actually. DocuSign, we're up almost 10% on the year. So really not much to talk about in terms of moving with the market. The S&P is higher than that. The NQ is higher than that. What really stands out to me is this $70 level. We touched 70 several times in February and March, couldn't get through. We attempted again in June to touch that $70 level. We got to 67 with a rejection. And then the recent pump takes us into 65. So we've been seeing continuously lower highs, and for a fact, we have lower lows as well, right? So we got the lower highs, we got the lower lows, even though it looks like a broadening channel rather than, you know, a narrowing channel. Let's put in the ticker over here, DOCU. So personally, for me, I need to get above 70. I need to get above 70. I need to stay above 70 on a closing basis. And 70 also takes us back to this level over here, September 2022. So it's an absolutely recycled level. And again, it takes us even further back. The further I look, the more I see 70 coming into play. June 2022 and July 2022 all had dances with that $70 level. So this is a very interesting area here on DOCU, $70. So much so, Patty, I'm going to put an alert, because if it breaks above 70, then I may be very interested in this name. Attach alert. There we go. Alert outside of regular trading hours, and that's put in. So if we break through this high, I get an alert letting me know that we had a technical breakout.
So what would be your thing to take that? Just like a day trade? Would you?
I could swing it.
Would it swing it? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't mind swinging it. I wouldn't mind swinging it. Like, that's what I've been doing. I'm swinging Caterpillar. I'm swinging Apple, Li Auto, and I lost about $1.25 on UNG. So that was my nat gas swing. I'm flat on Li Auto, and I'm up huge on both Apple and Caterpillar. Yeah, so I'm pleased about that. I took an L. Full disclosure on UNG, everybody knows about that, and we've let everybody know about that. But the other swings have been doing good, and I don't have a time frame. I let the technicals talk to me. So if we break down the pattern, so if we were making higher highs and higher lows, let's just say on Caterpillar or Apple, and there's a clear change in the trend, I'll get out. Yeah. Right? And that's what I really want to base it around. Because I kind of felt like I had this overlapping vision. I was getting in for fundamental reasons and then looking for technicals later. It doesn't work like that. You're either getting in on fundamentals or you're getting in on technicals. And I don't like overlapping both. I'm not that good. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to base it, you know, entirely on technicals at the moment. And if, you know, Caterpillar or Apple were to take a dive one way or another, that's it.
And that high is, when's that hthis over
here?
Yeah, what time?
So there's just so many. Let me go back. This one over here.
Yeah, sure.
So that's $123, but on a closing basis, it was like 120.
What day?
Yeah. It was March 1st, 2022. So right at the war. Remember when we got the sell-off after the beginning of the war, and then for whatever reason we spiked right back up for the month after that. So that was just post-war. I'm talking about the Ukraine war.
Yeah, okay. No, I got it. So with me over there, the only thing I'm thinking about is like timing, if that hits that $70 level by the end of the year. If it happens just before the end of the year, because people don't really want to sell right now, right? You're gonna be paying your taxes and stuff, right? I don't know. I'd be weary about it just coming back down after maybe beginning of the month to the end of January, you know.
Yeah, and that's
just get in and then just wipe it out, right?
You brought a really good point there. Tax loss harvesting. So you want to talk a little bit about that? Yeah. Sure. Okay. So basically, you know, a lot of people selling their losers so they can basically offset some of their winners with some of their losers. Sure. And so then sometimes we see this little dip in the market with some ones that are already people are underwater on, and then you get a big buy up coming in the beginning of the year. And so that's something that we typically see every year with this tax loss harvesting, which is fantastic, obviously, but it makes these anomalies in the market because nobody's selling for any reason except for the tax reason. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Yeah, so it's interesting. All right, let's take some questions from the chat here. Elon, hi Sharif. Do we have a poll on which tickers are the good, the bad, and the ugly? Interesting there. Any ideas about that, Chilean Nightmare? Yeah, Chilean Nightmare will debate if he's going to add one there. We'll see. We'll see. Nice trade on Mara, says Mike Fidel. So shout out to you there, Patty. Look at Mara pump, man. Take us through this Mara. It's already breaking through VWAP standard deviation.
It does the same thing. It does the same thing every day. Okay, not every day, but most days it's the same thing. You get everybody in, scare them out, and then slowly get them in again. I'm telling you, it's gonna get back to the same price it got to today, 24.30s. Maybe not, right? But normally that's what it does, right? And we're almost at 24.
All right, yeah, that's a good look there. And so we have that previous high. Are you looking possibly at that previous high, like that big red wicking candle to the left over there?
Right, this one
Yeah,
again?
so is that going to be a profit target? Like, are you looking to wet your beak out some of those areas over there?
I'll be honest, I missed my trade. My trade was over here, but if we catch another big dip, then I think I'm gonna get in.
I gotcha.
I think I'm gonna get in. I said just buy the dips, right? Buy the dips on Mara, because
Yeah,
it did exactly the same thing, you know? Came up, it dipped, you get in, scares everyone out, popped, dipped. It's just slowly making its way back up, right?
Yeah. That's a good look there, Amar, man. And I particularly like the dip buying, especially when the stock is trending to the high side. You know that it's trending.
Well, and the thing is too, guys, I don't take it for like, if you ask probably Wayne or any of the guys back there, they're probably
Right.
like, yeah, that's the dumbest thing I would ever do. But I don't understand, because they have a different way of trading, right? They see their levels and like they get in and they let stuff ride. Like I'm still learning that, right? So
Gotcha.
I just like to take the 4, 5, 10 pennies today
Right.
if I can, right? And then wait for the next level, right?
And we talked about this last time you were on. Your kind of like philosophy is, let me size up on a stock that I like.
Yep.
Let me wet my beak with a couple of pennies, make the same amount that I would have if I taken small size and let it run $1. I stay in the trade way less, and I have a tight stop. That's kind of the modus operandi there.
Sure, and that's because we work here. We have a stop limit, right? So like we get stopped if we lose a certain amount in a day. So when you're on your personal account, it's different. Like I would go golfing in the summertime. I'd look, this is the level I want in at. Hits that level. Sometimes I'd be down a lot during the day, but most times it gets back to where I thought it was.
Oh, you're going to get the chat psyched up now. You're going to talk about golf. Oh, boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot of golf talk now, man.
Yeah.
When's the last time you golfed? Obviously, it's not really the weather right now.
I went to New York.
Oh, yeah?
In November, I believe. Yeah, the end of November.
Some golf in New York?
Not November, October. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was New York State. Yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
We played Turning Stone.
Not like I know what that is. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't
to
know.
you.
I didn't know what it was either.
And the
It's
funny
just,
thing is, I was just telling Breno this morning, I live in front of a dang golf course.
Which one?
Don Valley.
Nice.
Yeah, I live right there.
Nice.
Well, there's a lot of places
The
around
best-
there, so I'm not really tipping my
city
hand
course.
too much here, but of where I live. But yeah, dude, I've lived there since 2011, and I've never been into there one time except to walk my dogs, and then I got kicked out.
But do you golf?
No.
If you don't golf, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you think I'd like be enticed a little bit. You know, I'm bored. There's a golf course. Go. And there's a bar there too, so it's like you can meet people. You can talk. I've never been golfing. It's not my
You can
alley.
you can live beside the river, but if you don't swim,
Well, there
what are
you
you
go.
gonna do, right?
No, look for like an elitist sport. I hate to call golf an elitist sport, but you know, there are a lot of businesses done there. Personally, I like tennis. So my elitist sport is tennis.
Yeah.
You wanna talk some business and have a couple of drinks? You gotta take me on a game of tennis, not golf. But
I think golf is for, I think the elitists like to play golf, but I think it's more for people that are sick in the head.
why do you say that?
Because it's the only thing that you go do. You catch a beating and you come back for more. You know, I'm gonna do better. Well, why are you gonna do better? You haven't
I
practiced
like that.
it,
I like that.
But
It sounds like sports gambling, says the Katina man.
that I don't do. So
Neither do I. I've never really been into it. I know it increases like engagement with the game, right? You have money on the game. You don't care about the teams, but all of a sudden you have money on the game. All of a sudden you're more interested. That's why I do fantasy, because it makes it a lot more interesting there, right?
Sure.
But I don't know. I've just never really gotten into sports gambling, man.
the thing is too, like we come to the casino 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, right?
Well, that's the thing.
So
right?
you know, we get our fill.
We do get our fill. Okay, couple of quick things here. I see you guys talking about Pole. Pole is at $9.40 again. It's up 779, 83, 86%. It's flying. Pole is absolutely pumping to the high side. The one I'm keeping my eye on is this 17050 on the future. Oh, geez. Oh, this is so frustrating on the futures. I'm going to have to get out of this likely. But here we go. The $9.50 is the high, right? Is it? $9.40, excuse me, is the high on POL. It's rejecting off that level right now. It looks like it might continue through there, 700. The Katina, I got you, Katina, man. It says pole is dancing. We know what that means. All right. Katina, it was good. I know Adara liked that for sure. Yeah, there she is. She's confirming she liked it. Pull is absolutely flying, and the future's tanking, so we're going to get out of this trade for another L. Shout out to me for 2 L's on the day, baby. How many can I make it? Can I make it 3 for 3 L's? Well, I could have wet my beak for a profit taker, but I'm just too stubborn. Here comes 10 on A. 2 L's make a W, says Ram. That's a good way to look at it. Okay, I like that glass half full. Right. Shout out to Ram for making me feel a little bit better there. All right, here comes $10. Some size at 10. We're not breaking through 10 for now. We definitely did have an iceberg there at 10 because I didn't see enough size reflected on the book to kind of prevent us from going up. So we're doing the dance with no pants at 10. Let's see if we get continuity. We're up at 833% so far. And if we break 10, we'll definitely be a lot higher than that, guys. Micro float. All right, this is a micro float stock, 2 million shares. So be careful. We've already had umpteen amount of float rotation, done 100 million shares on the day. It's 2 million share float. So we've done 50 times float rotation on this monster.
Yeah, run from there.
Absolutely. Stop console wars, pull to the north side, LOL, ho, ho, ho. I like that. Shut up, console wars. I like that. Michael Westrick, pop in and out of TLT, boom, winner. Shout out to you, man. Obviously, we had a TLT, which is the TLT is a 20-year, by the way, in case anybody's wondering what the hell that is. It's a 20-year treasury. We definitely had a 20-year treasury auction about 44 minutes ago. It was met with more exuberance than had been predicted, and especially more exuberance, or demand, I should say, than the previous occasion was. Here we go. Let's go back into POL because it's the one that is making all the moves. It's clear $10, and it's pumping to the high side, 10.21 now, the HOD on POL. How high can we go? I have no idea. Let's look at the daily chart on POL to see if we can find any clear support, or sorry, in this case, resistance levels here. Let's go daily. Let's go weekly, actually. All right, so this one split back in October of this month. So I don't know if this chart here is pre-split. Something tells me this is not pre-split, so I'm not going to read out the levels because that's just going to make me look silly. Yeah, this is pre-split, so I don't know what the price action was. For whatever reason, they didn't split adjust this chart. Usually, my program does split adjust, so I don't know exactly where to expect the resistance level, so I'm just going to steer clear of this bad boy. But here we go, rejecting then. Now coming back south, but there's some buyers at 10 that every time it dips below 10, Patty, it's being bought up. How's that Mara looking? Oh, wow. Good look on Mara.
Yeah. Hopefully some of you took that long that I said.
He
had more guts.
The Katina man is long 2310 on MARA.
I got to spend more time with Sean.
Honestly, right? So do I. Even though he sits right next to me.
That's why I'd say I literally took the seat behind them on purpose. Right? When they asked me, where do you want to sit? I go, put me behind the big guys.
Exactly. Hampton's Trader, yes, I did get out of that trade for about a 2-point loser there as it broke down below 1050. So we'll have to take the L on the NQ again. But it's doing that dance at 1050. Still putting in higher lows. I just don't have room to give it, quite frankly, after taking an L earlier on. So had to get out of that trade. But yeah, it's by no means done on the day. I just reclaimed 1050 with a higher low. I'm talking about the NQ March contract. Let's have a look at here what I'm talking about. We definitely had that 1050 act as a level of resistance earlier, and then we flipped to support once we started breaking through it, touching that 10 high 60s area. All the dips into 1050 were bought up, but it broke down lower into that 17.040. Still higher low, though. That last little dip trade that you could have had at 17.023, which is yesterday's close, and VWAP, essentially. We haven't broken below that low. So still higher lows on the day if you're charting this bad boy. So the trend is still intact, up 0.16, but definitely not really as exuberant as we have been on previous days on the NQ, Patty. One thing I did want to point out is the relative strength of the Russell. It continues to be strong, guys. The RTY up 0.8 on the day. Compare that to the 0.1 of the ES or the 0.14 of the NQ. The Russell continues to be very strong. RTY, here it is, futures, March contract. All right, let me just look at the 5-minute real quick here. Yeah, there it is, baby. We're up 0.8 on the day. Much more bullish looking chart on the RTY than on the NQ or the ES. It's been real strong lately. Like, look at this hourly. Let me show you the hourly on this bad boy. Yeah, look at that. I mean, we were at 16,050 at the end of October there, Patty, and we're now knocking the door of 2075. So almost 400 points off that particular level. It hasn't been that long. What, a month and a half? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so fantastic trade for anybody who put their money in the Russell. Not something we didn't know about. We know that there was rotation, that you know, the Mag 7 were doing all the heavy lifting all year, and that it was just a matter of time until these small caps and mid caps really started to join the party. Mm-hmm. Anything on your end, my man?
I think this is going to come down a bit. Not too crazy. I think just to scare everyone out, because then 2 o'clock is what? How long is 2 o'clock? 10, 12 minutes? That's when the action starts, right? So, I don't know, maybe scare everyone out again.
Right.
But again, who knows? I'm looking at this, this 23.75, just to scare people out.
I like that.
Just to scare everyone out, right? Because we hit it twice already today, right? So.
You want to buy the higher low?
I'd buy the higher low.
I like that.
I'd buy the higher low.
It's an uptrend.
Yeah. Just because, like, look, we did. We had 5 wicks in a row of just like up. Now everyone's like, oh, it broke through the even dollar break at 24. Right. Let's go. And now we get everyone in, scare them out, maybe 20 cents, 25 cents, and then the casino starts again at 2 o'clock, right?
I like it. I forgot to get to that super chat here. Eduardo Burgos, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. I don't see an attached message, Eduardo, so if you wanted to say or ask anything, absolutely, please tag me in the chat. I was going to say Adara, but Adara's not here. Tag me in the chat, and I would love to, shout you out or answer a question that you may have. Hampton Sater says Mara looks like it wants high a day. I wouldn't disagree with that, especially off that big move up off that 2280ish area, 22. What is that area? Ram, come to the chart. Yeah, right there. Their production team's doing their thing back there.
It does the same thing every day, guys. Say pretty much the same thing, same moves.
Yeah, Adara's in the chat. Still here in spirit. Great job, Sharif and Patrick. Shout out to Adara. Advice on trading without level 2 data and tape, please, asks Terminal 101. Well, personally, I don't do that. So I'm going to have my tape up and my level 2 if I'm going to be doing any trades, because I need to know
if there's happening here.
Yeah, exactly. If there's a big size seller right in front of me, I mean, I'm not going to know about that looking at the level 1. So probably a good idea to explain what level 1 and level 2 is to everybody. Come to the chart here if you're able to, Ram. So at the top over here, you're going to see green. You're going to see this rectangle over here with the green, and then you're going to see this rectangle over here in the gray. These are level 1s. This is showing the highest bid out there at the moment in all of the market. And this is showing the lowest offer out there in the market. But there is more orders that are either above or below these levels. And this is what's showing you. So look at it. Look how incrementally the numbers get lower and lower and lower. And I know it's moving fast, so it's kind of hard to see. But the point is to see if there is, say, a buyer below where I'm currently in at the moment that could help support me if the price moves down. So if I say get in at $10.65 here on poll, and there's a monster buyer at $10.50, I need to know about that, because that acts as a level of support. I know that that level will maybe backstop me if the price was to come down. Now, what you need to understand is there is this spoofing kind of methodology, which is illegal, but people do it anyway, where I put an order out there in the market at a lower level to give the false indication that I'm interested in buying that particular stock at that particular price, so I can fake people out. And what ends up happening is when the price comes closer to filling my order, I delete my order and I remove it and the stock tumbles, right? So that's spoofing, and that can be equally done on both sides of the equation, on both the bid and the ask. So you need to be able to see these big lots, big orders that are sitting at different levels. Otherwise, you're trading blind. Yep. So I would stay away from not using level 2, right? I would definitely always be employing level 2. It's a lot harder to use in reality when it's moving like it's moving right now.
Fast, right? Yeah, you're looking at it. That's literally a slot machine, right?
Exactly. It looks like it is a slot machine. Look how quickly Pole moved from $9 to $10.30, and it's just moving so erratically.
How do you
Well, there's traders that do trade these, and they trade them with success. I'm not one of them, right? Especially these ones that halt and move up like 800%. But the thing is, and this is what I tell Adair all the time, if we have a monster that runs up like we have on poll today, 800%, chances are we're probably going to have a couple of these three triple-digit ones tomorrow. And let's just see if that pans out. So we'll have a couple that are above 100%, and they come in cycles. They come in waves for whatever reason. Really? Yeah, these small cap. I used to call them crappers because they're just so garbage. They're done by the end of the day. But then people got upset, so I started calling them gappers. Hey, well, they're gapping, right? So it's.
There goes your girl Mara.
How's Mara doing? Yeah, she's doing real well.
Yep. She's been a dirty, dirty girl today.
Uh-oh. There it is. Spin the money. What did you do, Katina, man? He's $1 in the money on M. He's short Shopify, Affirm, and Meta, long Mara.
Yeah.
So anybody who wants to know about the Katina Man's trades, there you go, baby.
Mara's going to make a new day high.
Eh?
They're going to make a new day high.
You could tell we're Canadian. I like the way I ask you. Instead of saying, what?
Yeah.
All right? When I go to the States and I do that, it's a dead giveaway right away. I go visit my sister in SoCal, and like without saying that A, they wouldn't know.
Sure they would.
You think so?
And I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
Because you hold the door open for everybody else.
Oh, wow. Right? Shots fired at our American cousins,
No offense. Just every time I go to the States and I hold the door open, they're like, you're not from around here, are you? I'm like, wow.
Patty, it's probably, I should tell you, that our #1 viewing area is California.
Nice.
#2, Florida, and #3, New York.
Nice.
So we have a lot of American viewers right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just letting everybody know that.
Yeah. Very nice. Very
That's
nice.
funny. D-Loaf. Feel like we need a daily crapper du jour. Yeah, we typically do segment just as you do the roll call when you come on at 11 a.m. Trade with caution. Of course, shout out to D-Loaf. You know, sometimes we get these like triple-digit movers, and sometimes we don't. I mean, that's why they come in waves. Just like we get, good market movements on the future on days, and sometimes we don't. But I feel like these small cap gappers, they're much more temperamental and fewer and far between through the wave. So whenever I can, I'll shut them out. I have no.
Do you take them often, the small cap gappers? Or no?
Yeah, but not the ones that are crazy moving.
And
like
not for size, right?
No.
Just for put out a little feeler there to see what
Exactly.
happens, right?
Yeah. Like I started out my trading, if I could call it my trading career. I don't even call it a career, but. I started out trading these small cap gappers, right? And that was my thing. It was like, oh my God, this thing moved up 400%. I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of the year, bro. And then you get in and then you realize what they're really like and how difficult they are to trade. And whether you chart them and we think you have levels, sometimes the levels mean nothing. They don't mean anything and they get blown through. So you got to be really quick with your
there goes Mara. Bye-bye.
Yeah, coming a little bit back down now. You might get your shot at that level that you wanted.
75.
Mm-hmm. Where is it again? Can you point it out to everybody?
Yeah. Where did we say? Well, it's 75. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's just going to maybe get there, but it's going to continue to go up. I could be wrong. I don't know what Bitcoin's doing right now.
Tony Price says, I hold the door for people. I must be Canadian at heart. Shout out to Big Tony Price. Nice. Tony, where are you from, my man? Just let me know what state you're from, or if you're comfortable telling us a city, whatever you're comfortable with there. Rick Less says, I'm from Cali. I hold the door for everyone. I probably don't belong here. I'm too polite. LOL, you'd fit right in and get it. No, but I got to tell you guys something. Toronto people amongst Canadians are kind of known to be like the rudest of all Canadians. There was this hilarious billboard in Vancouver. It was a beer ad, okay? We have a beer here called Labatt Blue. And obviously we drink beer cold. So it was trying to advocate that the beer was best served cold. It's like so cold, it's colder than people from Toronto. So the shots that are taken by other Canadians at Torontonians is like constant. They kind of view us as the most American of the Canadians, and we're supposed to be, the rudest, the least nice. Whether you believe that or not, it's all stereotypes. Neither do I.
The problem, there's so many people in Toronto. Like everything is
ridiculous amount of people.
Yeah, the amount of like everyone that lives in the country. Like a lot of people live in Ontario, right?
Oh yeah.
So, Toronto happens to be the biggest city.
I hold the door for myself, says Stop Console Wars. Attaboy. Way to live for yourself, baby. Tony Price says Greenfield, Massachusetts. Yes, the Commonwealth, not the state. The Commonwealth
said that
of Massachusetts.
the last quote? Who said that last
Oh,
one?
that's big Tony Price. Oh, about the hold it for myself?
Yeah.
Stop console wars. I hold the door open for myself, he says.
Open it for yourself, hold it for other people, buddy.
Hey, okay.
You know?
I like that saying. None of your biz says I'm from Buffalo, and we all do. Yeah, you guys are like...
Yeah, Buffalo's awesome. I love Buffalo.
It is nice. It's not bad. Man, I used to go to Buffalo a lot more as a kid.
Yeah.
And do a lot of shopping when the dollar was close and parity. 2012 was the best year to do shopping in the United States because our dollar was above theirs.
Yeah, by 10 cents, I think.
It was actually a little bit higher. It was like
Really?
1.2. Yeah, I think so. It was like 1.2. And there was the Burberry outlet in one of the...
exactly.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm
Yes,
talking about. I lived at that Burberry outlet in 2012.
So did I.
Yeah, you go there, you get... First of all, you got everything cheaper numerically.
Yep.
Number-wise, their products are cheaper. Add to that we had a positive conversion rate and you were printing. I didn't sell any of it, but yeah, it's okay. Mr. Pringle says Google weak. Well, Google's at VWAP. I wouldn't say Google's weak per se, but I'd say, well, it's up 2.83%. I would say it's the strongest of the names today. I don't mean to call you out. And the Katina man just said it took out 52-week highs. So Google can't be weak. But look, I see what you're saying. It's making lower highs currently, but look where it is. This white line is VWAP. So look what it did here with VWAP earlier. Found a lot of support, 1150 to about 1220. It was buying. There was a lot of buying at that VWAP area. And it looks like it's doing it again here at that 140 and a third, pumping back up into that 140.56 area. What's up, Katina man? He's 70 cents now in the money on AFRM. Shout out to the Katina man, who will be on in exactly 1 minute as we are 1:59 and 44 seconds, my man. Any final thoughts before we send it off to the Brendo at the big desk?
Everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Enjoy time with your friends and your family. Be safe, and hopefully we make a lot of money.
Any plans for the holidays?
Family.
Yeah,
Likewise. Spend with family. That's it, man.
All right. We will see you tomorrow. Adair and I will be on, same bat time, same bat channel. Brendo is at the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in. 2 o'clock on a pretty interesting afternoon, setting up here once again. The market just continuing